light from the wrong goddamn side.
All right, and we live.
Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth. Every time, ooh-hoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. It's God killing the house. Look, and we're coming to do what we got to do. We're going to do what we got to do. We standing tall. We standing strong. Yeah. And this Raw squad up. What's good, family, man? Look, we want to always give, 1 second. Damn. We want to always give the family a chance to respond and ask questions because this is, I gotta get this light right. Because this is part of what we do as teachers, and it's very important for the learning curve, be able to ask questions. And so, don't be scared. Y'all come on in with your information if you want to, and let's just talk about it in a calm fashion. We're on that mode now where we slow everything down. We want to hear exactly what you got to say. So I think it's always going to be a good learning opportunity, right? See who got the heart and just kind of just see what it is. So we can kind of, like I like to say, face the music. So if you got something you believe in or something that you think you know in, it should be able to stand the rigors, right? It should be able to stand the scrutiny. And as a good rule of thumb, you should always try to defeat the argument that you have. This is exactly what scientists do. So you have information that you think you know. You should do all you can to defeat it. And if it stands up with the scrutiny, then you might just have something. But at any moment, be ready to change that idea based off of a new available idea. This is how we do this around here. So we never claim to know everything. Things change all the time. And, we just appreciate the support from the family. Make sure y'all hit the like button, you know what I'm saying? And make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to all the channels. The Mossy Warrior Clan, Real Black Atheist Scholar, and Real Black Atheist on Fire. All right, make sure y'all subscribe to that, and definitely subscribe to the Raw Squad TV joint. So, waiting for some call-ins, right? Mix it in a little bit. And, I'm just appreciating everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I just knocked it out. Hold on. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Yolanda, how you doing, sis? Black African Power. Hope I said your name right. Wake up, World 100. Let me see. Just say, yesterday, let me see what you said. Yesterday I said African American gene markers match Native American gene markers, not Native Americans. I'm on your side. All right, bro. It's all good, man. Sister Kaba in the house. What's good, Sister Kaba? Always a pleasure, all right, to have intelligent sisters around us. Who else we got in here, man? Delbo, yeah. Black Power all day. Absolutely, man. Black Power all day. Uncle Root, what's good, bro? What's this? Grown ass man. What's good, man? Appreciate you coming through. Will Mobley, what's good? Y'all know what it is. George, what's going on with you, George? See, you got that thumb up. All right. So, man, Amin Ray Assar, what's good, man? Good to have you in here. Revolutionary Vision, yeah. All right. Well, I see you. Jamie, see you. Sun Line 55, I see you. All right. Cedric Brown, yeah. Woo-wee. Y'all know what it is. So let me see what else we got in here, man. I don't want to miss nobody today. You know, T. Givens. All right, got you. Finish your fish off. I see you. All right, brother Kofi. What's up, man? You know what it is. All right. So, family, we gotta stay on the path these days. All right, we gotta beat that drum. All right, because when you got what we got, you know what I'm saying, we gotta continually keep it moving, nice and slow, right, so that everybody don't miss the daggone train. It takes study around here. You ain't gonna get this with no willpower. You had to get this with patience, right, and study. You know what I'm saying, and reading the proper reading material. So this is exactly what. Let me see what I want to. Today, let me see what today's read was for me. That's what I was reading on right here. Kind of showed it yesterday. The Nature magazine. I was reading on this malaria. All right, and this is 2000. It's just July 26, 2018. You also have an article in here on human evolution. All right. Just for a moment here, I think, scientists, like I said, always challenge everything. Anyway, how you doing, brother Wuja? I jumped too far. What's good on with you, brother?
Hey, peace. Black African power to the panel. Yourself, Unc, brother Nahisi is in the house with us, and Black African power to the family who's watching. And I'm just waiting to see if any callers come in. We kind of call this the after party from yesterday. Give people an opportunity to call in and give some commentary, ask questions. Just spend the night and let's just chop it up for a while.
Easy. What's good, man? I'm Raw Squad Up.
I'm a Raw Squad Up, Mossy Warrior. What's going on, brother? Huh? Black African Power. Appreciate for having me on the panel. You know what I'm doing. I'm at work. So I'll be in and out.
Working on the railroad. Yeah. Let me find this article right here. So man, before we get started, it's a good thing. I want to try to pull up this article for you. This go ahead. What was you going to say, Wuja?
Just real quick, we posted the link. So remember tonight, it's a call in. We want participation, and hopefully the links are working. So if anybody's having a problem with the link, make sure you let us know inside the chat. See, Sister Kaaba is also reposting it. So tonight's purpose is to get that interaction. So when you come in, if you click the link, come in. All we ask is that you mute your mic, and that two people can't talk at the same time. So just mute your mic until you called on, or the floor is open. That's all we ask. All right, and everybody be respectful, but it's an open floor. All right, the link has been posted, and don't be afraid to come on in and just kick it with us. All right, I just want to make that clear.
All right. So yeah, I want to pay a little attention before we really even get into it. Like I said before, a good scientist and a good healthy scientific community always challenge the prevailing theories and the information they had. The key is to try to overthrow the theory. That is good science. And so right here, they fighting to overthrow in China, in Asia. So, like I said, science is practiced all around the world. It's not an exclusive white thing. That is total misinformation by those who don't read a daggone thing. So China is doing what they're supposed to do. In Asia, they're challenging the outer Africa theory. That is good science. This particular article is entitled, it's a letter, it's entitled Hominid Occupation of the Chinese Loess Plateau since about 2.1 million years ago. Okay? So, all right. And so the thing it goes on to say considerable attention. This is the abstract. Considerable attention has been paid to dating the earliest appearance of hominids outside of Africa. The earliest skeletons, artifactual evidence for for the genus Homo in Asia accurately comes from Denisovan, Georgia, and is dated to approximately 1.77 to 1.85 million years ago. Two incursions that may belong to Homo erectus come from Yamanu, Uamanu, South China, and are dated to 1.7 million. The next oldest evidence is an Homo erectus cranium from Latan, Gugawaglin, which was recently been dated to 1.6 million. And the earliest hominid fossils from Sangrean Dome in Java, which are dated to about 1.5 to 1.6. Artifacts from Magugu 3 and Shargi in Nawan Basin, but they use the Chinese words here, North China, have also been dated to 1.6 million, 1.7 million. Here we report the earliest Pleistocene and largely continuous artifact sequence from Shoshin, which is a newly discovered Paleolithic find of the southern Chinese Los Plateau. This word again, near Goganwaglian in Latina country.
Hold up, Unc.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Somebody said, Unc, instead of the God killer, they called you the name killer.
That's fine. You know what? Go ahead and get your money and read the article. I gave it to you. The hell, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the best I can with the Chinese names. Doing the best I can.
Of course, they just playing, man. So that was
Doing the best I can. Shit. Struggling, but But I tell you what, though. I'm going to keep doing it until I get it. You can believe that. All right, let me finish this. Which is dated about, let's say, hold on, man, y'all threw me off. Let's say the site contains 17 artifact layers that extended from the Peleos S15, date to approximately 1.26. The Los L28, which we date to about 2.2 million. This directly implies that hominids left Africa earlier than indicated by evidence from Denisovan. So this article is just talking about how, based off the finds in Asia, they kind of realized that the hominids left Africa earlier than they thought they was, and so that's good. And so we have to change some of the dates. Nothing is actually etched in stone. Now you say, what in the hell is Unc read the damn forward? Forward on this particular article, and how does it have any bearing on any of the conversation we be saying? Well, let me show you how they're going to attack y'all. They're going to attack you on the outer Africa theory. This is what the quote unquote people try to do in the community. Now they don't attack you with science, right? They attack you with complete foolery. They could attack you with complete misunderstanding of data. So I might just bring it up. I'm gonna give y'all some bones to try to attack the outer Africa theory with. You feel me? Go to China, go to Asia, study those finds, right? You'll find the intelligent pseudos, which is an oxymoron. It can't be intelligent pseudo, right? They try to act like the outer Africa theory was overthrown based off of the hominids, right? Or the homogeneous family that they found in China. Now, you got to read the arguments. The Chinese is fighting hard, you know what I'm saying, as they supposed to. And I'll give you a couple of articles where they, quote unquote, is fighting hard. You know what I'm saying? So let's see, we've got a call in here. You asked who that was, Wuja?
No, I was waiting for you to finish. I mean, go ahead and finish your thought, though. We'll get to that.
All right. And so, I'm going to go to the Journal of Nature, and I'm going to show y'all, let me see, some quote-unquote challenges to the outer Africa theory. And you're going to always find this to be for sure. That at the end of the day, they're going to always say that no matter what you think, right, Homo sapiens sapiens, as of 2018, always come from Africa. Homo sapiens sapiens. They'll try to talk about maybe Homo erectus formed outside of Africa, then came back in Africa, right? But there's always a Homo sapiens sapiens always formed in Africa. And I find that to be very, very interesting. Let me see.
All right, while you do that, some people are asking what's the number, so I'm going to see if I can post it again.
Now put that number. Can you grab the numbers? 100 numbers in there, ain't it? I never understood what number to use. Now, he seems to be the only person who could do that. Let me get the right here.
All right, we do have a caller that's ending in 6136, but I'm gonna mute you again. But we're gonna open the floor up in a few minutes. All right, so I'm gonna mute you because I'm hearing some background noise. So I'm gonna have to mute you again. All right, no problem.
We're gonna open that phone up. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Let me see here. Can I get this? Damn. Oh man, lectures.
Okay, while you're finding that though, I just want to say that I think people should really, really look into the Out of Africa theory and remember that there's theory 1 and 2, or Out of Africa 1 and Out of Africa 2. And you can find this. You can look online to get a brief synopsis of it. But I would encourage you to really look into detail, get some books on it to really get into the nitty gritty of it. But remember, there's Out of Africa 1 and Out of Africa 2. And basically the difference is Out of Africa 1 deals with archaic, older human migrations or hominid migrations, etc. Whereas Out of Africa 2 incorporates the human genome. Since the human genome has been mapped, I believe in 2003. I always get it confused, 2013 or 2003. I believe 2003. Don't quote me on that. But ever since then, they incorporate the genetic data information into it as well. And it basically confirms a lot of the hypotheses that was put forth prior to that. So that's the major difference. Not every, it's more to it than that, but that's one of the differences that you'll see between Out of Africa 1 and Out of Africa 2. All right, so just want everybody to be aware of that.
I want y'all to look up Dele Man. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this real quick for y'all. I ain't never heard of this. I'm gonna make sure y'all have everything, all the tools y'all need. Because the pseudo is going to try to use it, but so we always, I like to go ahead and identify it right off the bat. That way we not, you'll find articles like skull found in China could rewrite the Out of Africa theory. But first, like brother said, y'all should probably know what the Out of Africa theory is. You want to go over that real quick, or you want to just jump right into the caller? Hold on, let me.
Well, I was just filling in while you finding what you're finding, so I was just. No, that's just my suggestion and encourage, if people are going to have discussions about these different topics and issues, then we should be, familiar with it. So I just always encourage people to read up on it and not just do the microwave, surface, shallow, Google search, put a little bit more time into it and get used to the wording, nomenclature of the field. Because a lot of people see one of the tall tale signs of pseudoscience and people who kind of do that kind of stuff is that they'll use scientific words, they'll use scientific jargon, but they'll use it incorrectly. So you'll hear people use these, specialized terms and things, but they'll use them incorrectly and everything. So we can avoid that by just studying the material and just taking some time, relax, and we don't have to rush anything. I noticed that a lot of people will rush through stuff and then have a lot to say, but they themselves didn't even wrap their own mind around the topic or the issue. And so we can eliminate that by just taking our time, slowing things down, slowing the conversation down. Like yesterday we I mentioned briefly about the DNA testing and a suggestion. People believe it's a hoax and everything like that. So I offered a suggestion to counter that. And, the pushback I got wasn't even dealing with what I said. People make up something else. So it's really never ending. But anyway, so Unc, you find what you looking for?
Nope. Because this one just had it.
All right, but real quick though, I saw somebody typed in and said a scientific theory is different than a theory, and that's
Yep.
very true. Well, a theory is a theory. It's just that to the layperson in everyday conversation, people take the word theory and they equate it to the word hunch or guess. Like it's just a hunch. It's just a thought. It's just an opinion. You know, they downgrade it in
All right, but real quick
everyday.
though, I saw somebody type in and said a scientific theory
Oh,
is
okay.
different than a theory.
The caller that just popped in, I had to mute you because of the feedback. All right.
You had your computer running. You had the thing running.
No, that was a caller. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the thing running.
All right. So what I was saying though, so yeah, in everyday conversation, people tend to downgrade what a theory is, you know, just a hunch, opinion, whatever. But in the scientific disciplines, a theory is taken much more serious. A theory is, in a nutshell, a theory is an explanation. So if you have problems memorizing what a theory is, just replace the word theory with explanation. So a theory is an explanation of well substantiated facts. So a theory is not in and of itself a fact. It is an explanation of a fact or a set of facts. All right. So if it's raining outside, that's a fact. But if you want to explain how and why it's raining, then you come up with an explanation of it, and then that's your theory. That's the theory of etc. So I'm just giving you, just this little quick example and analogy. All right. So hopefully people will understand that. So we don't want to hear people say, "Oh, that's just a theory, not a fact." Like, okay, duh. A theory is never. No scientist will tell you a theory is a fact. All right. So there's no need to say it's just a theory. When you say just a theory, people are, again, they're taking the word theory to mean it's just an opinion. It's just a hunch. They don't know what they're talking about. No. That's not how it works. All right. So we have to be in tune with how these words are used. So anyway, that's all.
All right, here's the spelling of it: Dali. I think there's was there Dali or Dali
Yeah, Dolly or
or Dali? All right, okay.
Daily, Dolly.
Cranium was discovered in 1978, embedded in the Los Terrace near Jiafeng Village. How you say it? How you say that word? How'd you pronounce that?
I'm not. I can't see it, so I don't know.
You said Dali.
Oh, Dali. I mean, to me, it would be
Yeah,
daily or Dolly.
daily.
Dolly or daily.
Dala. All right. Country. Okay, in the province. All right. So I want y'all to look that up. Initial reports of the Dele site can be found in Wang, 1979. That's Wang. All right, that's the actual source. And the Wu and Yu in 1979. So these are Chinese scientists. This ain't got nothing to do with white people. All right, since y'all always want to play that. Okay, describing the cranial. Additional comparative information can be found in Wu. That must be a journal, 1989,
That's my
and
journal. Woo.
Wu Tang, and an English language description of the Wu in 1995. Uranium series dating of the ox teeth from the site obtained a date of 209,000 to 23,000 years. Okay, let me see. And so the debate was it a Homo sapien sapien? Was it had archaic features? And so you also look that up. Okay, and they're assigned to an archaic Homo sapien. All right. And it says the cranial, facial anatomy, and vulp shape are distinct from European Neanderthals and early European hominids like that. The Anthropura, let me spell this: Atapeuruca. Damn. Well, these Chinese boy, they don't be playing. They be. Mm. Anyway, I'm gonna give it to y'all to read it though. All
All
right, get
right.
up on your studies with this. All right, go ahead and take the call though. I guess I can. Let me see. Can I put that in the chat room? I can't even put it in the chat room, can I?
You could put it in this chat. I'll copy and paste it over.
Only the person running the thing can actually post like that, huh?
No. It's just moderators or whatever the case is. Similar to YouTube chat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So if you want to open it up, we can open it up.
Yeah, go ahead, open it up.
All right. So I think the first person that called in, number ending in 6136. So, I'm gonna unmute, or you can unmute yourself, or I'll unmute you if you had questions, comment, or anything. All right.
Anything.
So if you need me to, I'll unmute you. And peace.
What's going on, man? It's a pleasure talking with y'all, man. I've been listening to y'all for a little while, and I definitely subscribe to Out of Africa. So with that being said, when it comes to the Aboriginals, my question is, a lot of them try to scapegoat and not have any answers by simply saying, well, Africans were everywhere. So I'm saying the question I always have for them is, well, when did we stop being African in Europe and especially particularly in North South America and become Aboriginals? And another question I always want to ask them is, who did the natives, the people that we're calling natives right now, did they have words, names to distinguish themselves from you? And what were your interactions like? Like, what language did you speak? And in any of their languages, is there a word for who you are? Like, how were your interactions other than what is put down on paper with treaties, like the Treaty of 1866? Those are pretty much my biggest questions to them, and which can probably never be answered. My biggest one for you guys will be understanding evolution, or trying to understand it a little better, is when Africans left the continent, when did they become what we know as the Asians now, as the Europeans now, as the, when did we stop being African, as in who we are today as an African? That's kind of like the biggest question, and I appreciate it, man.
Oh man, that was excellent, excellent questions, and those are kind of questions that need to be in the forefront. So those are really good. So Unc, you want to take a stab, or I go first, or whatever, or Nahisi?
Nahisi, when they stop, the truth of the matter is they never stop. You just start to get variations, mutations. So, like, I think, Ujah, you do a good job when you talk about a population of genes and traits. It's found in Africa. Okay, you have the most diversity on the continent of Africa, and I like to shout out, Sister Kaba sent me an article, and it was basically talking about how the Europeans scientists were trying, the ones that was working in cancer research. You can put that in the chat too if you can find it again, sis. And they was basically just using European populations, or what you want to call European populations, those in those particular regions, and they was having a problem. And the problem was they wasn't using African DNA. So when I say African, I mean on the continent, surname that, in that particular area of the world, right? With those groups of climates and different forces, all right? In that particular area, they wasn't using that. They wasn't using that DNA. That DNA is the most diverse on Earth, plain and simple, amongst the human and the hominid population. And so you have all different variations in African DNA, right?
I participate.
You got to mute. Y'all got to mute that.
Yeah, whoever just, I'm going to mute that. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
So the point I want to make here is that fundamentally, like we say all the time, everybody is African because they all come from, the ancestral population that left out of Africa. And then mutations occurred outside of Africa, right? So that's when you'll see in articles they say non-African. So how can it be a non-African, but yet fundamentally everybody is African? How is that so? Because the mutations occurred outside of the area that they're calling Africa. All right. So the answer to your question is all of us are mutations from the original. That's all. A variation from the original.
Yeah. Only thing I'll add to that is I always encourage people to really do a study on taxonomy and ontology. It's very, very important to understand evolution and to really, really clarify things. People really have to get into taxonomy and ontology. And taxonomy is, both of those are classification schemes or systems or methods of classification to name things and to classify them and to group them into categories. So it's a way to categorize things. So once we understand that everything on Earth is lives on Earth, whether it's animals, humans, whatever the case is, and so we're the ones that demarcate different animals, different species, different living organisms into these groups, and we label them. And we only do that in order to understand and to discuss them, to discuss about it. We try to organize it in a way that that makes sense. So when we say that when we ask or try to answer the question, when do human beings stop being African? First of all, African in a biological sense would have to deal with your haplogroup and mutations, as Unc already explained. So if your most recent mutation that you're a part of took place off of the continent of Africa, then you have a non-African haplogroup or a non-African mutation. If it occurred on the continent of Africa, then you have an African. I'm gonna mute that. Then you have an African mutation, and therefore you would be classified as genetically African. And so it's the ability to anchor you to a specific geographical location. And on a large scale, we deal with continents or we deal with certain regions. So they'll say Europe, Africa, Asia, or whatever the case is. And they may get a little more narrower and deal with regions, all right, smaller regions. So that's the biological sense of calling something or someone African. And then, yeah, if that caller calls, then I'm going to have to definitely block that. So, and then you have a social aspect or a social context of what it means to be African. And so that's different. And we have to be careful not to mix the two. So in essence, all Homo sapiens sapiens can trace their lineage back to the continent of Africa. So all living human beings today can ultimately trace their lineage back to Africa. So in that sense, in a biological sense, all human beings are historically African. But because you have the out of Africa and mutations occurred off the continent of Africa, and we only trace it back to the most recent ones for these different genetic populations, as mentioned. Now we can start calling people African versus non-African and start anchoring them in certain pockets of geography around the world. So that's the point or the understanding that we must have when we have these discussions. So to kind of summarize the answer to that question, you stop being African if. All right, so we definitely going.
Well, who is that? Is that just somebody?
Don't even worry about it. Hey, definitely going to be blocked. It's immature. See, that's the consequence we had when we publicly post the numbers and everything.
Well, what happened? It was just somebody trying to talk.
No. Somebody's trolling. All right, so
why did you do that?
Man, you can't get in the mind of a troll. You ain't gotta worry about why. So anyway, so we stop being African when your most recent mutations occur off the continent. All right, and that's really the biological explanation. The social thing gets real tricky, real ambiguous, and it will become convoluted because then you deal with a lot of race,
and it caused the crazy racism. Nahisi, you want to add to that? Is he still on there?
Yeah, Nahisi at work, so.
All right, shit, he listening while he work. All right, brother, did I answer your question? What, a couple more people on there? Oh, he go. Is this a new number on the 347? That was the number you was talking to, Wuja?
I think it's a new one. I think the brother that was on, he probably listened. He hung up and listened.
Okay, all right. 347, what's good? Talk to us.
If you can't unmute
Yo,
yourself, I unmuted you,
yo,
so you can go ahead.
yeah. How y'all doing? It's your boy Phil, Fifth Ass Phil from the chat.
What's good, brother?
Yo, so I don't know if y'all remember me, but I work in the psychology field. So the way I would destroy the abos would be with these set of chronological assessments that is actually proven fact, right? So I would ask the abos, being that y'all came, y'all in America, right? You have to agree, right, that the abo civilization, y'all tamed the land, right? Y'all knew where everything was. This berry is poisonous. This berry we could eat, right? So if you knew which berry can kill you, which berry doesn't, no problem, right? Fast forward today, scientists can determine what poison killed you by analyzing the same plants that you abos used to live around. So we can also agree that certain plants are indigenous to certain parts of the world because they have a book called Plants of the World. So if the scientists can determine what type of poison was in your blood and where the plant came from, how come they can't determine? Because you are what you eat, right? Because if you ate that berry, you would die, right? So you are what you eat, right? So if the scientists can determine what poison it is and what plant it came from and what part of the world, those minerals and those minerals in that area are in your blood, right? So when we show you the royal family's bloodline and it shows West African blood, that's because the people in that area ate from the ground of whatever grew out of it and plants and animals in that region for thousands and thousands of years. Because so when they do the DNA test, when they look in your blood, they can say, this person has proteins and things in their blood that's from a certain region that only these plants with this type of protein come from. And for it to be in your blood for a high concentrated amount, you had to be there for thousands and thousands of years. So that's how they determine. A lot of times, the groups in which you procreated with, that's in your blood.
Yo.
Is that a white person?
Yeah, I don't know. This dude's crazy. So at the end of the day, they would say yes. I know the abos for a fact would say yes to saying that they tamed the land. They would say yes to poisonous berries. They would have to agree that scientists know where the poisons are and many different poisons and where they were derived from. They would have to agree with that. Then that's when I correlated to over you are what you eat. So therefore, if scientists are able to depict the types of poison and what plant it came from, they can also depict the types of food you ate a lot of times within your blood. And if they are isolated to one area of the world, they could determine either you was in that world or some type of trade occurred and it came to where you was at. That's all I want to say. Scholar gang.
All right. So that's a good point. That's a good point that, the food that you ingest, obviously the food that any particular people eat is going to be food that's near to them. You're not going to travel 6 hours around the world to have dinner. So the foods that you eat also become part of your things that you're exposed to, as you said, certain pathogens and things like that, certain immunities that you will have as well. So you'll be able to look at that information and make some kind of inferences and whatnot as far as where these people are from, where they migrated from, and so on. So I mean that's a good point. The point I always raise is when you brought up abos, Aboriginal people that push the Aboriginal doctrine and Native American doctrine and things like that. Is that hold on, I'm trying to catch this. Okay. Just trying to make sure this person don't return on here. One of the things, see, before, like me personally, before I get into any kind of lengthy conversation with the person that pushed those kind of doctrines, I just ask them, have they had their DNA analyzed? Have they had their genome sequenced and DNA analyzed? And all right, see, this is gonna be an issue right here. See, I gotta catch the number. But anyway, so and it's always one. It's always one. It's always one. It's always one. But anyway, so what I always ask them is if they have their DNA analyzed, because if they're not even willing to do that, then it's really no need to go further in the conversations. I mean, if you really think about it, because what people tend to like to do, they want to keep things unscientific, because in the unscientific realm of conversations, anything goes. You can make up anything. You could say anything. That's the world of opinions, and everybody has them, and there's no way to falsify opinions, because the mechanism to falsify opinions is the scientific method. All the methods that are in science. So when people want to keep this conversation unscientific, that's the reason why. And so, me personally, I tend to kind of, be cautious about getting into too many lengthy conversations about that, unless people really.
No, I get it, man. I get it.
Willing to do that. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just my thing.
But see, with the breakdown, the way I do it is undeniable. So when I engage in my debates, I'm going to have that. First, I make them commit to something. I make them commit. If you tame the land, yes. You know where all the plants was? Yes. Okay, can you determine today where poisons come from? Yes. You got to make them commit. So when it's time to double back, they can't double back, because that's when you use it against them. And that's how I destroy these abos. I tell them you can't go to grandmaologists or auntiologists and stuff like that and get these stories and think we have to take them all 100%. We'll take it with a grain of salt, but I just think further methodical methods and testing should be done before you just make these claims, because nowadays we have super amount of technology that help us. I also refer to the OJ case. I said, did you see the way they was trying to explain DNA back then? And I would ask them, do you think inventions or innovations progress? Because if you look at it now, we're talking on watch phones right now. Something out of Dick Tracy. I seen the first time I seen that was when I was watching Dick Tracy. So I'm 40 years old. So now we talking on watch phones and things like that. So you have to give respect to at least say maybe DNA did progress from the time of OJ and all these other eras where they couldn't analyze and connect people to crimes, but now they can.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to go. What you just described is definitely the way to go. But we all know all too well that the unscientific minded people among us.
The guy start.
I'm sorry, Ujo, but I'm out of here. Thank you for the time. I love you guys. God bless. Scholar Gang 1.
All right, let me just finish my thought. I'm trying to catch that caller. That's one of Unc's boys. But I'm just playing. But no, so I was just saying, we all know all too well that the unscientific minded, they come up with excuses for everything. If it's not one thing, it'll be another. And so, we could just do our best. But that's a good way of doing it, what you described. And that's all we can do is our best. So yeah, Unc, you pick up. I'm gonna catch this. And you muted. There you go.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, why you mute me out, Wuja? What the hell wrong with you?
I kept trying to unmute you. You were muting yourself back.
I ain't touched the computer. Well, go ahead though. Who's next? 865.
Yeah, peace.
Peace.
I got a question for Aunt.
All right, what's your name, brother?
Hi, my name is Aboriginal Power. Halito, brother.
All right, hey man, Black African Power, bro. What's the question?
I want to see if you was I heard you make a claim more or less. I want to see, verify your claim.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's all good. Peace to everybody who else on the panel. I don't know everybody's name.
All right, good.
But I heard you make a claim about the pyramids in Peru and Corral Supe being 2,600 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And according to Ruth Shady, and any other article that I've seen put out dealing with the dating of it goes back to 2,600 BC.
I agree with you on that.
Okay, so it was just a miss. You just accidentally did that, right?
No, that's just the archaeological. That's the archaeological site. They don't really have how old the pyramid structure itself was. I think it goes. Hold on, let me say this real fast. I think it goes back past 2,600. That particular site. You know what I'm saying? I think a little bit older than that.
Right. You said 2,600 years or 2,600 BC?
2,600. 2,600 BCE. I think it's a little bit older than that area.
Oh yeah. Actually, from the article, and the material that was taken out of one of the pyramids of the eastern wing, they took wood from out of one of the standing pyramids, and it was dated that possibly 26 to 3,200 BCE. Right?
Give me that article so I can look at it. I'm very familiar with the lady that actually did it, and I think the real fight.
Yeah, Ruth Shady. I actually got the actual interview with Ruth Shady speaking herself with the translator because she don't speak English.
Right.
So, I got that interview as well.
I think the problem is that the Europeans was taking credit for some work that she did, though. I think that was a real problem. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the other archaeologists that was on the site helping with the dating is John Haas. Who came in and helped do the dating as well. I'm not looking at it right now, but I'm on my phone.
Okay.
But maybe sometime I can get a link and come on and maybe do a little screen share.
Yeah, we'll relook at it and see if they actually dated the pyramid itself. So they
yeah.
Right, they did the wood.
Okay, it's cool. I just wanted you to clarify that because you said 2,600 years, but it's 2,600 BCE.
No, BCE. Yeah, I meant BCE.
But, I know, but you said years on the video on the Scholars Corner on TV. You said it three times. I just want to clarify that.
I said 2,600 years.
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So that would make it like what?
2,600 years ago, but if you were to do 2,600 BCE, it'll be a little bit over 5. It'll be a little bit over 5,000, about double that.
What's over 5,000 years ago? Oh yeah, plus the 2,000 now, 2018.
Yeah, so I said close to 5,000. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you with that. Yeah, I got
it. Right.
You good?
Right. And then there's still a lot of stuff going on in El Mirador dealing with the 60,000 structures that they found with the LADAR testing down there in Guatemala in El Mirador, the city of El Mirador. They found 60,000 structure, and they estimate out of those that 10,000 of those are pyramids. Actually, the leading archaeologist on that site, which is Dr. Richard Hansen, has excavated and discovered 51 of those within the last 41 years. So, and they get into the dating of those as well. So when that information get released, there's going to be some more game changers to prove that, the oldest pyramids, over this way.
Well, let's say that is true, right? How does it help you in your cause to be an Aboriginal? That's really real thing.
Well,
seriously,
what it causes is right. I'm not trying to take away nothing that Africans done or nothing like that, because I got African friends and we politic all the time, right? Mm-hmm. But more or less is giving us something to give pride in when they tell us that we was archaic and hunters and gatherers. When I go through the consensus in the National Archives dealing with the consensus, dealing with material, dealing with agriculture, dealing with irrigation. We are some of the earliest people to implement these things on a large scale, along with agriculture, which is one of the biggest money makers in sustaining when it comes to the people. You got to have agriculture. And when we're dealing with agriculture, even in various spots like the city of Corral, which is a desert. It's a desert. But when you read in the article, it was a metropolis of gardening because it took irrigation to do that. You see, that's science. So how long was that science around before it was implemented? You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is there's a lot of information out here that's going to be changing the game, but we're not trying to take away nothing from Africans. All we're trying to do is uplift our people as the indigenous people, the true Americans.
Yeah, I have a
All right,
question for you.
freeze for a minute. Hold it right there for a minute. But I asked the question again, right? Because just racist scientists, always think that other people are quote unquote like barbarian or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just people talking crazy. So what we do know is that the Native American population, they did have structures. They did have large cities of 1 million people. So no one on the Amaral squad is fighting against what you're saying. I'm going to back to the question again. No, you cut me off.
But what I'm saying is, my bad.
You cut
me
off no matter what you say.
Go ahead.
We have a chill conversation. I'm simply saying that people that are claiming to be original to North America aren't those people. And the fact that they might did all them great things, that ain't helping the people. That ain't helping your cause. Not unless you can prove with a DNA test. You know what I'm saying? Not unless you gotta have the DNA test because that's the business of the day. You gotta have some bones. You gotta have all that. You just can't say that. That's not taken away from the people on this side of the water that was an advanced culture. Because there were advanced cultures. I've never said it wasn't. I'm not the guy to say that, well, this, that, and the other. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? They was writing. So that's levels. So I don't know, bro. I ain't never not said that it wasn't me. It wasn't the squad saying that. But I know they ain't built no. But watch this. Right. I'm gonna say this though. I know they ain't built no damn pyramid to rival the pyramid of Giza. I'll tell you that much.
Actually, if you look up in El Mirador and you look up the pyramid Ladanta.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's see. Spell
it.
Spell it.
L-A space D-A-N-T-E.
D-A. Hold on. D-A?
D-A, like Dante. Ladante, or the Ladanta.
Go ahead. D-A.
N-T-E.
N-T-E?
Yes, sir.
Dante, what? Pyramid.
Okay. El Mirador. E-L-M-I-R-A D-O-R. It's like, so. Like I said, I'm not even looking at it right now. I'm freestyling off the top of my head right now. But what I'm saying is, I wanted to say something while you was looking it up, brother. That's all.
Well, I have a question for you. I have a question for you while he's looking it up.
El Mirador, the lost city of Mayan, right? That?
Right.
All right. Let me go to the Smithsonian. Let me see. What you talking about? Go ahead while y'all talking. I'm going to read up on it.
Okay, I have a question for you, brother. I have a question for you.
No problem. Can I just say something to what Aunt said right quick?
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, the reason it's beneficiary to us, because we can track down through migration periods from South America that the people from North America came from the South. You can find Olmec culture and pottery in Mississippi. You can also find it in Tennessee. You can find Mayan and Aztec culture throughout California and Louisiana. Okay, so
okay, that's cool. Now I just have a question for you. Now, out of all the people that you just named, you mentioned Olmec culture, Mayan culture, et cetera, et cetera. My question to you is: have you had your DNA sequenced to the point where your DNA can be compared to the cultures and the people that you just named, and to come up with a match?
Right. Well, actually, dealing with the genetic sequences of American ancestry, that they only tested approximately about 6 times. So they really haven't did enough study on the indigenous people here to have enough evidence to conclusively put that out. And by the way, dealing with the accuracy of a DNA genealogy test, we got to deal with the accuracy. And I think it's 0.01, right? Which is,
okay. Wait, hold on. One second, though. Maybe you didn't hear my question. I'm saying, have you had your DNA sequenced by any genetic company or whatever the case is?
No, I heard you, bro. I was just getting into it. I was just giving you the breakdown of the DNA testing and all that. When I say it's 0.0.
Okay, no problem. But at least answer my question, and then you could build.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm about to. I just need a couple more seconds. That's all.
All right, I'm
getting into it right now.
All right.
Like I said, the DNA testing accuracy is 0.01, which is 10% of 1%, and so it's actually non-accurate. And just to answer your question, no, I haven't had a chance to.
That's the percent of what you test, not the percent of accuracy.
Hold on one second. Let me wait. Let's slow. Wait. We gotta slow down.
Everybody,
hold up. 1 second.
No. We can't cut in like that. We ain't gonna do it. Let that man finish, yo. We ain't gonna do it.
No. But I'm saying,
I appreciate it.
Wait, brother, just 1 second, because it's my question that you're answering. So, the answer to my specific question,
is no, I haven't.
Is no, you haven't. So now. Everything you're saying after that is your attempt to teach us about the accuracy of DNA. Okay, so I just want to make it clear, because remember, it's just not us talking. We have the whole audience.
I don't think I'm teaching you guys something that I think you guys already know. I think you guys already know. So I'm not trying to teach you guys nothing. But what I was trying to teach you about the pyramids and El Mirador.
But what was the point? What was the point of you saying point?
Looking up.
What was the point of you saying 0.1%? If that wasn't even my question. Because the reason why I say that is because...
No, I answered your question, too. I said no. That was just flat out no. But I haven't got around to take that test.
Yeah, but that was
around
after.
To it.
Hold up. But hold up.
No, I ain't got around to it.
Wait, but that was after.
I wouldn't get around to it neither.
Oh, my goodness. Let me just...
I'll take one now. You going to pay for it?
I'm trying to...
That's Garfield going to pay for it.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to Garfield tomorrow about that then.
Yeah, because I don't care. Shit, you be whatever you want to be. I ain't spend no bread on that.
All right, so wait, I'm not finished yet. I'm saying, brother, I appreciate you answering me, but you answered me after you gave your build. And so your build
was that.
So now I'm getting back to your build. So your answer was no, but now back to your build. And you're incorrect about the accuracy being 0.1%, which is 0.1%, et cetera, et cetera. That is just flat out wrong. So if you want to build on it, we can educate you, then I don't mind doing that. But I'll yield it back to Unc.
No. I found the pyramid, but go ahead. Let's do that. While I want to keep looking at this pyramid a little bit. Go ahead.
I appreciate that, but
hold on, bro.
My
Stop.
bad.
You said the 1% thing. Where'd you get that from? Let's do it like that. Where you get that
I watched a couple of interviews. I watched the interview on 60 Minutes with Rick Kittles, and they kind of got around to asking him the accuracy of the test, and that's pretty much what he said. I got the video.
How long ago?
I can send it to you.
How long ago was the video, bro? How old was it?
This was in 2015, I believe.
And that's
okay. Now let me tell you, that's the same video that the people on Facebook try to make reference to push that 0.1%, and it really boils down to not understanding how the genetic ancestry is taken and so on and so forth. That's really what it boils down to. And so when you say the accuracy,
I'm not a genetic expert, but I deal with brothers that's more equipped on that expertise and knowledge. I'm more of a history guy. I like to go into the history.
Okay, and I appreciate that, but I just want to let you know that that it is incorrect for you to say that the accuracy of DNA testing is only 0.1%, et cetera, et cetera.
I only heard that from Rick Kittles himself. I'm only quoting the man who's running the company. That's all.
Okay. So you're saying that Rick Kittles says that he formed an entire company called African Ancestry. He charges about $300 a pop, and you're saying
right. He said, but what he did try to cover up to make money.
Wait.
Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead, my bad.
Because what you're saying is that Rick Kittles has founded this company with the sister Gina Page. They charge about $300 per kit, and that they are saying, and he's also saying that the testing that he does is only a fraction of a percent, not even a whole percent accurate. Is that what you're telling us?
They said 0.01. Like I said, yes, that's exactly what he said, and he didn't want to say it. He didn't he didn't look proud of saying it. But what he did say is that he got the largest collection of African genetic genome sequences in his database. So that's what he did say.
Okay, let me ask you. All right, let me ask you this: Did you watch his interview that we had with him?
No, I haven't. But you can send it to me. I can get all my information. You can send it to me, and I'll check it out.
Okay, let's table this until you do that. So I'm gonna give you the link so you can watch it, and then where he breaks down what that 0.1% actually means, and so on and so forth. So we'll do that. So we'll table it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
All right, good enough. All right.
But like I said though, I've been talking to Garfield over a few days, and like I said, I brought up a book to him, which is it goes into a lot of information that we talk about. Period, for dealing with the Aboriginal information. A lot of people might not be able to quote the sources because it's an encyclopedia, right? And it's published by the National Archives and Smithsonian Records and all kind of other references and sources that you can go through this encyclopedia. But that's where a lot of people are getting their information from, whether they quoting it or not, and various other books as well. You know what I mean?
So basically, you just like to teach Southern and North American history. Basically,
Southern. No, we teach all of the Americas. We even got a brother that's equipped with going into the islands, and we deal with American history pretty much. Yeah, North American history goes back a certain So,
all right. So watch this. Here's where it get real crazy for you. How do you know that your ancestors built those structures that you're talking about right now? How do you know?
How do I know, right? Well, I don't know I don't know with certainty that my particular lineage of people, right, built those. But dealing with the codexes that's found on some of the Mayan walls that explain the building and who even constructed the buildings, particularly in El Mirador, they show the phenotype dealing with the pictographs and dealing with, according to the pictologists that's looking at, they look just like us, the phenotype just like us. Matter of fact, when you start diving into their culture, just with for instance, the food, the way they cook things, it blends all in with our culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the South, so I don't know where you brothers from, but I'm pretty sure y'all know how you can go somewhere and you understand these your peoples because the way they cook. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So that's how you know, because the way they cook. That's what you're riding on right now.
Oh, nah. I'm not riding on just the way they cook. Don't do that. It's various other ways that you can go into. Like,
make you think you know what you know.
I just told you the phenotype, bro. They look just like us. They're explaining.
Okay. Hold on, phenotype, right? So then you actually are in agreement with biological and human evolution, then, right?
Biological and human evolution.
Biological and human evolution. How human beings transform on Earth. How biologically we're all connected to every living organism. So you agree with that?
I mean, no, because when you're dealing with evolution, right, and you go to a period. Hold on. I just want to ask you a question. When you're dealing with don't ask me. I can't ask you a question.
No, you asked. You said no. You said no, right?
I said no. Right? Yeah. So can I ask you a question?
You can ask me a question. Go ahead.
Damn, you down there made me forget my damn question, bro.
Check I learned.
Damn, man, go ahead, man. I done forgot my question now, man. That's almighty.
I got him with the trick. Been doing it for years, boy. Learn that one right there, yo.
Boy, you must have learned that in the streets. That's that tongue talker, boy. Take that money right out their goddamn pockets, slick a big out like that, boy.
All right, let me say this. When you start to talk, first of all, you presented evidence on certain archaeological sites, which mean you're not opposed to the scientific investigation on the history in North and South America. You're actually using science at this point, right?
Right,
And just
right, right.
because you use archaeology don't mean you have to be in agreement with biological and human evolution. But when you start to talk about phenotypes, right, and that's really diversity in the way the Homo sapiens look, right? The question is, why is it different types of phenotypes? The only way we can answer that question is by biological human evolution. So you shouldn't really talk about phenotypes because you really prove my point. Because phenotypes, you know what I'm saying, can look a certain way, and the DNA don't measure up to that particular thing and what it's looking like. So you're talking about.
I understand that though, but like I said, I'm not that equipped on this on the genetic, but my man's is. So maybe one day we can have a future, conversation on this. But what I was saying is dealing with evolution, you got a period called the Cambrian period, right? If I'm pronouncing it right.
Yes.
And
Yeah, what's your question about the Cambrian period?
What animals come before that?
What do you mean what animals come before the Cambrian period?
I'm saying what creatures, what species, what's before, what period is before the Cambrian period? Cambrian period.
Let's look it up. You think it ain't no periods? How old is the Cambrian period?
That's the bottom period. That's where all animals pop up out the blue. And it does not support evolution because it got to evolve from where something comes from.
It's called the Cambrian explosion. And they don't
the Cambrian explosion, correct.
Yes, but do you realize what is there, though?
Say what?
Do you realize what is there?
What is there? I couldn't hear you. My bad. My phone messing up in these mountains.
I said, do you recognize what they do have at the Cambrian explosion?
Some kind of bug.
No, they got body plans.
Say it one more time for me.
They have body plans during the Cambrian explosion. Body plans that will later on become all the animals you see today.
Hold on. Can you send me
BODY plan, 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 body plan. Like the way your body is planned out, body plans.
All right.
All right? So don't nobody tell you that. So let's look at the fossils real quick. You want to look at the fossils? Let's date the Cambrian age first. All right, radioactive elements contained within rocks have only recently become available and for only a few reasons. Relative dating, A was before B. It's often assumed significant for studying the process of evolution, but this too has been difficult. Because of the problems involved in matching up rocks of the same age across different continents. All right. So it's difficult to date that. Let's deal with the body fossils. Fossils of organisms and bodies, right, are usually the most informative type of evidence. Fossilization is a rare event. We could talk about that. And most fossils are destroyed by erosion, okay, before they can be observed. Hence the fossil record is very incomplete. So if you study evolution, you know the fossil record is incomplete. And I think Wuja does the best job of saying if we had every fossil, that ever existed, you would see that everything looked like their mother.
But all I'm saying is I understand what you're saying, but when it said, but all it's saying that it could be, but technically it's impossible to create a whole new genetic sequence.
Nah. Hold on, let me read this. The Cambrian fossil record includes an unusual high number of largest state. Let me space this again. Largest statin, which preserve soft tissue. These allow paleontologists to examine the internal anatomy of animals, which in often sediments are only represented by shells, spines, claws, if they are preserved at all. The most significant Cambrian's largest stent are the earlier Cambrian monostantians snail beds. of, not one of them damn Chinese words, Yukon China, that's wild, and Certus pastius, Greenland. It say the Middle Cambrian Brugless snail, all right, and the Late Cambrian Austin, Sweden fossil pig. It say while Largestan preserved far more than conventional fossil record, they are far more complete. All right, so they do have fossils that are complete. And I say all this to say, right, if you do your study on it, right, you'll find out that there's enough time, right, for those organisms to transform, you know what I'm saying, in different environments. There's plenty of time for that. So the argument you use is the creationist argument.
Right, because the reason I say that is because it's impossible to create a whole new genetic sequence of DNA, which ultimately represents the anatomy and structure and how this thing is going to operate and function correctly. But, you know, like I said, I ain't the man on this topic, though. I promise you, I would love to go in, but I don't know too much.
I got you. No, you honest on that. You honest on that.
Like I said, I deal with the history. But like I said, I deal with some guys that's pretty thorough when it deals with the genetic science and all that stuff. Right, and the evolution. Yeah, right, in evolution, yeah.
Yeah, they be teaching creative.
But yeah, I just really want to call on. I appreciate y'all let me be on y'all phone call or whatnot. But I just really want to, you know, make sure you weren't misleading the people out there. Cause I fuck with your work, even though I am Aboriginal power. You know what I mean? We pushing this thing all the way to the limit, and it ain't going nowhere. But I do fuck with your work. I've been fucking with your work for a long time. I just didn't want you put out there like you misleading the people, though, because I know it was just a misquote that you said, because you quoting it, you saying Ruth Shady name, and I know that ain't say 2,600 years, so I just want you to, you know, clear that up for the record on the record.
I'm in 2,600 BC. I was reading from the article.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said. I know it didn't say 2,600 years. That's why I said I know it was just an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. That was a mistake, honest mistake.
Yeah, it's all good. A lot of people try to bang on you with it, but I ain't like it. I just want to give you a chance to clear it up. But if you wouldn't have, it would have been.
I don't mind getting banged
on.
Nah,
you good. We all make mistakes, right? Yeah. But shit, yeah, that's what's up. I ain't gonna hold y'all brothers up.
Wait. Before you go, if you could drop the link to the video that you made reference to about the 0.01%. So that when we revisit it, we can actually go ahead and unpack the entire thing.
I'm gonna hit Garfield up in the morning. I talk to Garfield all the time on the hangout joints, right? I try to get a couple of you brothers in on the build while we was building in the back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Garfield up and I'm gonna tell him to send that video to you.
Okay, but I got one more question before you go. Do you know the difference between a maternal analysis, paternal analysis, and then the autosomal DNA analysis?
I think one dealing with the X chromosome and one dealing with the Y, right? In the mitochondrial DNA. One is tracking through the father's lineage and one tracks through the mother, right?
Okay, well that what you just said, that's correct. But I mentioned 3. So do you know? I'm saying, are you aware of the different results that you get from analyzing those 3 different things? So you have the paternal.
Line. like I said, man, I'm not even the guy on there, but I'm telling you, I have some more information for you guys tomorrow. I have my brother go in on that. Cause that's his thing.
Well,
I just want to put it out there.
Okay,
that's what I seen. That's what I heard. He didn't even go into detail of what he meant by it. So I was just only quoting the brother Rick Kittle. Excuse me.
Okay, but let me just be fair and let you know why I asked you that question. Because whenever people make a claim, a lot of times people will just repeat something. And they really don't understand it, and so this is what I find when people try to quote Rick Kittles, and this is what I mentioned earlier. I said I was going to table it, but I just had to let the listeners know that that if a person doesn't know the difference between those three things I just mentioned and the results that come out of those three things, then anyone saying that any percentage is the accurate thing or whatever the case is, they really don't have the information to even understand what they themselves are saying.
Right.
So
I don't got
wanna,
it right now, so I ain't even gonna lie to you. But my people do. They got all that. They got.
Okay,
they got
so
hey, what's your name again, brother? What's your name? 14500.
Nah, this is Wujao. This is the brother Wujao. So all right, that's cool. So we could table it, and then when you bring the other brother, or like you say, you're gonna get Garfield to forward me the video. That's fine. So we could bring this up again, but I just want for the listening audience, for people to understand. All right, but I appreciate it. That's good build that you had.
Hey, and tell get back with me after he finished looking at that little dancer, because I already know the answer to that one.
Hey, are you from Oakland? Are you from Oakland or something? Or California?
I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, bro. I'm Cherokee.
Oh, you know what? Because hey, Unc.
You said I'm looking at what? You said at the pyramid, you mean?
Yeah. Get back with me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, yo. I'm like, I ain't want to get you.
Hey, but caller though, caller, you remind me of one of our colleagues, Smash, brother Jonathan. The way you sound and your accent. That's why I asked you if you were from Cali or whatever. I gotta ask Jonathan where he originally from. But anyway, yeah, it was good to call.
Let me clear this up real quick, bro, because I was a little sloppy on the Cambrian explosion, right? I want to explain a little bit better with the body plans real quick so you can really get it, and I'm gonna give you a source for it. I don't want to just dive out there. So we're gonna use. I'm gonna give this to you, Ujah, to put this out here for the people. So we want to always make sure we educate it right. We never want to be sloppy with nothing. So here you go, brother Ujah. Let me give you this real quick. I don't want you to leave off here, bro, with bits and pieces of information, right? Damn. Here, I'm gonna get this put in the chat room for everybody. Look at this real quick. And what I was talking about when I spoke of body plans and how the Cambrian explosion does not nullify that at all. So let's see. Cambrian explosion. Let me see. Let's see. Creatures, fossils were found at the Burgess snail. All right, shale. SHALA. As alien as these creatures seem, they are also surprisingly familiar. It says all basic body plans found in nature today are here. Remember, I talked about that. So, that kind of defeats the creationist argument, right? It says bodies with heads, tails, and appendages, all specialized segments performing specialized functions. All animals evolving for the last half billion years has come from tinkering with these Cambrian body plans. And I say all this to say, I talked about what a body plan is. So if you was to strip a human all the way down to his bones, strip a quote unquote gorilla all the way down, chimpanzee all the way down, strip a fish all the way down to the bones, and actually looked at the body plan, you would absolutely find this. You would find out, watch this, brother. How many bones do you have in common? How many bones do you have attached to your shoulder blade?
I mean, shit, I really don't know. I'm going to say, what, 6?
No, you got one coming out your shoulder. One bone.
Oh, shit.
Right? Think about it. All right, now watch this. Once you get down to your elbow, how many bones do you have that come from your elbow to your wrist? How many bones?
I'm going to say 1.
No, it's 2.
Oh, my God. All right, then. I don't know, man. You tell me. You the guy on this. You the anatomy specialist.
Nah, we talking about, come on, man. You got 2 bones in your forearm, man. Come on, yo. Think about it. That's why your wrists up can rotate. It's 2 bones, right? Now.
All right, wrist to elbow. My bad. I misheard. My bad.
Elbow. I'm saying between your elbow and your wrist is 2 bones, right? It's not just
right. Fact.
Any skeleton, right? Now, from your wrist to your hands, how many bones? A lot, right?
A lot, right?
Right. So let's look at a fish. How many bones does a fish have coming from his shoulder?
I reckon one. Just to,
now,
you know, because you're making a point.
Watch this. By the time you get down to the elbow where it bends, that fin, right? How many do you have?
It's gonna go out.
2.
Right.
By the time you get to the end of the fin, how many bones is it?
A lot.
Right. So that's a body plan. So the same thing goes true with the body plan from a fish. It's the same thing that goes true with a body plan from a human. So what this shows us is that nature is tinkering with body plans. That's the point I'm trying to show you. That we all come from something with this body plan. Simple as that. It's not hard, it's not complicated. That's the best explanation we have, right? When you talking about why is it a fish, you know what I'm saying, damn near got fingers and shoulder blade. Why? That's why in anatomy, they start you off with frogs. You dissect frogs. Because understanding the anatomy of a frog, right, or later on, help you understand the anatomy of humans. That's what they do when people are in doctorate programs. They don't just start off studying human anatomy. You know what I'm saying? When they bring those first year students in, you know, they start, you know, they have them dissecting, you know, fish to study those bones. And then they move up and get you cadavers, which are human bodies. And they study them. But to get the real understanding of a human body, man, you got to study the fish bones. I'm just telling you. So, you know, I know you wasn't really prepared for all that, but I just wanted to hit you with.
Yeah, you already know that ain't even my expertise. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I just wanted to do that.
Good knowledge on me.
Yeah, I didn't want people listening in the chat room to kind of be a little bit thrown off by the, you know, it can be an explosion. I wanted to get that right. That's all.
Right. But like I said, that ain't my expertise. I just really want to, you know, like I told you, make sure you weren't putting out the information like that. I
appreciate that though, brother. I ain't an asshole. I just seem like it.
And by the way, man, look into the history of the construction of LaDonta. Why you
I'm unmuted. I can unmute myself. Haha.
I know why. I mean, but why call in? You don't got nothing else better to do? Why do it? Why? Kids having fun. Yeah, go ahead, brother. I got you. I'm not saying I'm not saying that wasn't a hell of a human endeavor to build those structures. I'm not saying that. I would never say that. I'm just talking about the Great Pyramids on the Giza Plateau right now. One of the 7 wonders of the world.
Right. But you gotta, you know, the big boy is over here, and the most is over here. The most pyramids in the world is over here in America, and the biggest one. But I appreciate y'all letting me have you on your panel, though. I appreciate that.
You good?
Hey, so remember that we got a future discussion to have about that 0.01%. All right, appreciate that.
Yeah, we do. All right, where you at? 42 Tribes. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah.
It's a good day.
What's good with you?
Just studying a lot, especially human lineages. Working on something that'll probably take maybe, I don't know, a month or so that I'd like to present. But I did have some questions. I mostly had a question for Wuja. And this might seem kind of familiar to you, Aunt, because I had mentioned that I always forget how to pronounce it. And I've written it so many times, like, because I know it's 2 types of Libyans, the Ticino and Tahino, Tamehu and Ticino, I think it is. And they seem to contradict the skin map, because in two senses, how they were depicted by Egyptians and how African modern Libyans are genetically, yet they don't kind of look it. You know what I mean? They have a strong indigenous.
I'm unmuted.
I thought Like, are we on Xbox Live right now?
I know he is actually.
I'm on mute.
I just wanted to ask, just bring that up and just see what people thought about that. And also,
how about your question?
Propose a third out of Africa, and that's out of Africa young, because I'm starting to see a bunch of examples of that, where the out of Africa movement is potentially a lot younger, and that seems to be the major disconnect in genetics, is the forced model of back migration. I won't say that's not necessarily forced, but contrived. Like theorized and presented without evidence.
What you mean younger? What you saying? Explain that.
Can I share my screen? Let me see. I think I can give a quick example of this. Let's see. Here we go. Hi.
I'm unmuted.
I don't know how you do that voice though. Okay. So this is a Y chromosomal phylogenetic tree. The reason why I say it may be younger and you have the back migration model that's contrived is, first, this is mainly not too detailed on the exclusive African side. For whatever reason, could just be ethnocentrism, or they're just, but anyhow, the focus is that the differentiation of haplogroups involving populations today. On this side, I'm finding that a lot of these are in Africa, more so than I expected. I would say all except for, I don't know about this end. I'm more familiar with the MT maternal side, mitochondrial side. And so I'd say down near all of them, really. Like O is, S, I don't know. I don't know about S. Not sure about this M offhand. P is weird. That's a long story with P. And then R kind of blows up in Central Africa, and then it's on the outskirts from there. Q might be in Madagascar, but HIJ, and then you have a bunch of these macro branches that aren't even found. So then if that does beg the question, because then I presented this at Egypt Search, and I was talking about how, like, even Clyde Winters, who goes through all of them, I couldn't find him saying that C came out of Africa, but you have traces of C in Africa. I'm seeing the same with A2 on the maternal end, and then use N as an example. But that's the main thing, is R is the largest European.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. So that's some good trolling. But that's pretty much it. R being the largest, if that is the largest and it's spliced into Africa, and there's also migration patterns that would make sense coming from R.
So where you trying to? I'm trying to figure out what you. Man, you got me confused. You're trying to what? What are you trying to show?
I'm saying that there's another model that is younger than what we commonly see, where you have like one major group that leaves Africa, and then when you find it in Africa, even though you find all of these, and a lot of times you find them at the basal level, most of them, like DE. I don't know about C, because C came from National Geographic, so I'm not sure if they even traced what branch of C. So the model is they leave, do like the Caucasian or Central Asian boogie dance, and then they come back.
Okay, back migration.
I'm saying that model is contrived, because you could also have just the extreme diversity that is Africa, since most of these are in Africa, and you're always going to have less frequency in whatever compared to whatever goes out to new land. Because if let me share my screen. Well, you saw it before, like with C, where you have that little sliver in West Africa, you have that little sliver in what is modern Tanzania. If that's an ancient African haplogroup and it leaves and now it has nothing to compete with outside of Africa, it's more likely to be successful out there. There's less competition for animals and food, etc. There's less people to share the land with. And based on the migrations, that they have higher frequencies in an area where there's less competition with other people.
So your point,
like Australia and stuff like that. So my point, I guess, is that while we're going back and forth with people like Dr. Ali Muhammad, the real argument to me should be just how big of a piece of the family tree is Africa. Because even though they'll make Cheddarman black and all that and say that everybody is African, the disconnect in the debate in genetics is, or the thing that is difficult for them to talk about is the notion that the most recent migrants out of Africa were the most successful. And that could be as recent as like 10,000 years ago, when you see people pumping out of the Green Sahara to get out of the desert. And that is about the age when R starts to be exclusive European. And other haplogroups become more exclusive European. And that ends up being the most successful on the male lineage. And then you kind of see the same thing with H with females. So that's my main point is, to me, the real debate should be Africa model 3.
Hey, yo, you crazy. Hey, 42, man. Let me get this straight. So you are proposing a new theory.
It's not really a new theory. It's more like, put it like this. I used to disagree with Clyde Winters because he's put it out there way before, and then there's other people too. But my issue was, well, if you got R deep in Africa, like you have it, what about the ancestors? And then I would look in Wikipedia, and it gives you a long list, like I showed, of ancestors before R. But then when I look at those ancestors, they're so rare outside of Africa. And then you find like old lineages like A000. Just think about how rare A00 is in Africa. That's like less than 1,000th of the population. So
that's not Homo sapien, yo.
It's Homo sapien now. So it's a lineage that survived in spite of its age, but it survived in just such a
that's not Homo sapien, yo. That's archaic.
It's Homo sapien today. Like the people that are tested that have it today are Homo sapien. It's found today. That's my point is, it's hard for something to survive that long.
Hold on a minute. That's like saying when you test a Homo sapien and find Neanderthal DNA, you're gonna call that's Neanderthal today. What?
No, the lineage may have gone back to archaic, whatever, but it's still a lineage that predates A. So, and it's still found today. It's not like we don't find Neanderthal lineages in people today. We don't find Neanderthal haplogroups in people, in modern people. But we find what I would say it's a Homo sapien haplogroup since it's found in Homo sapiens today. Now, what it was 300,000 years ago,
I can't let you get away with that. 42. Find that. Read that. Find what you just said.
A00. We both know it's found in people today.
No. Find the way you just said that. You know what you just said. Find that. So read that to me.
Find what?
Find that. A00 is Homo sapien today. Find that. Where'd you read that at? Or you just put that together?
I got that from you, I think. I might have heard that first.
I get that. I never say that.
No, look, you remember it was found in an African American today. A00.
Right.
And then they traced it back to the Imbo tribe. Yeah, in the Imbo tribe. I think another tribe has found it too. But my point is that old lineage is like 0.000 of Africa. So you just don't find it. It's extremely rare in Africa. good luck finding that haplogroup if they didn't find it in an American. And just think about how long we've been testing African Americans. So we finally find one, and then we go to Africa and we find a group of people that we hadn't tested before. So it's really rare in frequency.
Look, I'm not gonna do it. You getting a little pseudo with that one, yo. That's non-scientific. They don't say that 800 is Homo sapien. They don't say that. Say that's archaic.
That if you want to call it archaic, but the thing is, we don't know the date for it, really.
They do know they do know the date is older than the Homo sapiens sapien. It go back to 300-something thousand years ago.
That I maybe that's something I haven't heard, because if it goes back to 300,000, we're still talking about a Homo sapien-esque person, because we're right down the pipeline. You're more like this. You would be more Homo sapien than archaic by far. 300,000 years.
You got Homo adultus is an archaic Homo sapien.
No, but I mean, since it survived though,
it ain't survived. The DNA survived, man. The DNA, you wild, yo.
Yeah, that's mainly what I'm talking about, is that the lineage survived in spite of being extremely rare, because it's overtaken by larger, more successful lineages of Homo sapiens. But yeah, I won't debate whether or not something 300,000 years ago would be classified as archaic, because that to me, I would have to see the skull and the measurements, and we'd have to have a shared definition of what modern Homo sapien is.
And they know what the Homo sapiens is, what they look like.
But I mean, we haven't found no old fossil of somebody with 800. I don't say we say fossil, but old preserved bones. And I don't know.
They found it in the people. All right, let me.
I don't know if there's really been that much of a study on those old Moroccans that were found, like those, and those were like classified, I think, as borderline modern humans.
Yeah, those Moroccan, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying what they show you is you got like instead of just being the old gorge like they was thinking. Now I've been looked at the multi-regional theory inside of Africa. Remember, I think I talked about that before. How the different populations form Homo sapiens sapien. Different aspects of different portions of Africa come together to form Homo sapiens sapien. So there's different archaic forms of Homo sapiens sapien, in different parts of Africa.
I think that's one of the reasons why you have a mistake with the Neanderthal admixture, because if you're proposing that there was a European, or let's say Eurasian population 50,000 years ago, and then how would you, if it's actually younger, how would you say that it wasn't just, like you're saying, a different population of Africans that had more of a like archaic strain that's similar to Neanderthals and Denisovans that are mixing together, instead of a population that I would argue hadn't materialized yet. There is no European and Asian is nothing like it is today that long ago. Everything is rolled back into the overall population of humanity. People haven't bottlenecked as much. So to me, that they're getting false positives from that. But I've got other reasons for thinking that the Neanderthal admixture is largely a mistake. But when I see them predicting that it isn't, because they're calculating the admixture is occurring between 80 and 40,000 years ago, I'm like, it would likely occur within Africa, because you don't have those populations yet. And you still have that same type of admixture, because I mean, people, we all share a grip of our genetic structure with other types of humans. But I'm saying the type of admixture, you already have that in Africa with people who are, like, I could show you somebody from 23andMe who's 98% Burundi, like Central African. And he has more Neanderthal variants than he could possibly get from that other 0.2%.
Well, see, this is the thing. If I follow you correctly, we have to be careful because when we're dealing with percentage, the percentage results is only a result of an analysis of the nuclear DNA. That's the autosomal DNA. When people are talking about, like you said, the other percent and the Neanderthal and whatnot and so on, those percentages can tumble down within that autosomal nuclear DNA. But what you start off by saying, we were talking about haplogroups and things. You were talking about R, and then I believe you mentioned H, and so on and so forth. Those, you know, your DNA can tell at the very least 3 different stories, and those 3 different stories are used together to paint a bigger picture. But I think sometimes we mix and match the different stories and exchange one for the other, and we get confused.
Yeah, and part of it is it is a largely odd story because the ancestor to haplogroup R is extremely rare. I think it's found, I've seen it found in African Americans and Europeans at like 0.2%. So I don't know how accurate that was. It was just one test. Wikipedia has a link where it's found in Negritos in the Philippines. And other than that, you don't find it. So I think it just may be that it's overtaken because of its location. And that's why I use 00 as an example, because it must have been, I would think, in an area where it was just isolated enough, a group of people that were in a part of Africa that wasn't as deep with people. And that's the model I'm talking about is you have a lot more lineages coming out of Africa. It's just they're overtaking each other. And another thing that I noticed is like with haplogroup C, because I showed that picture, how it's like a tiny bit in West Africa and a tiny bit in Tanzania. It's also found, it's not currently found in Europe, or at least not noted, with maybe a couple exceptions, rare exceptions. But the old Europeans that were found, like Lebranaman and Cheddarman, had haplogroup C. So that might be an example of what's happening in Africa, but in this case, it's happening in Europe, where you have an old lineage that just gets overtaken by successful populations, basically that know farming, know how to train that animal. And I would argue, like, if I was really showing all the evidence for this line of thinking, I would go into the dogs and the cows, because they're ancestral to Africa to some extent, more than at least what we typically hear when we hear every single dog came out of a gray wolf.
Well, okay, yeah, I would need you to kind of put something together and
you got me. You got me real like
because I'm trying to follow you and
got me.
You know, outside of me trying to block that troller, and then
good job.
And then
yo, they went off into a whole new scientific theory. Yo, hold on, yo.
Yeah, I was trying to follow what you were saying.
Are you serious at this point?
And
you are hard. Hold on, let me.
And when you said R, are you talking about the maternal R or paternal R?
No, paternal.
Okay, and then, but yeah, I think you had to present something because I wasn't able to follow you, and like I said, I was trying to get rid of that troll at the same time. And
that's one thing I just want to jump in and say. That's the interesting thing about R, because like I was saying, the ancestor to R, the main population that it's found in any type of frequency, are people in the Philippines. So the largest lineage in Europe and a relatively large lineage in Central Africa and North Africa is only, like, the ancestor to it is only found in the Philippines. So
see, I don't know where I'm trying to figure out where you're getting at. That's why I said you probably had to present something, because the ancestor to R on the paternal side is P.
It's P. Yeah, P. P
right.
is found in Negritos in the Philippines, and I've seen one study where it's found in African Americans and European Americans at 0.2.
Well, I don't get that because P, that's the shorthand. So you got because my paternal line is P, and that's West Africa.
But maternal or
you said paternal. You said paternal, right?
Your paternal line is P?
Yes.
That's rare.
And that's West Africa though.
That's rare though. If that's West Africa, that's another example of something I haven't heard. You teaching now.
Well,
I want to see that, man, because that you should be able to
wait. I said I should be able to be. No,
you should, because you can look at you up there with the Negritos.
Putting me with the Negritos. No, wait a minute. I'm gonna tell you in a hot second. But like I said, what I would like to see you do is to put something together, because it's hard to follow what you're saying without you demonstrating or showing something, and I'm listening to you. But I had to zone out to get rid of that troller, and I don't want you to start. I don't want you to start your build all over again.
I would definitely have. I'm working on something.
All right, so I'll just look forward to something that you present, and then maybe I have some questions. But from what I was getting from what you were saying, which I probably should just wait until you present something. But
I'm more interested.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No. I
know you going after the troll.
I misspoke though. I said I was P. I didn't mean the shorthand is not P. It's P252, but it's EP252.
Oh, okay.
So
they get really confusing on the way to R.
Well, I mean, plus you got the shorthand and longhand notations that different people use. So you got the longhand where people talk about E1B1A, E1B1B, and all that kind of stuff. But then you got the shorthand notations. So like the equivalent, like my paternal haplogroup is EP252, and that would be the short way of them notating. But it's an equivalent long a rendition of that. But so when I said P252, I was thinking P, but it's E, P252. Yeah. It's of the E. So yeah, just want to correct that. So don't.
Can I ask a question?
Don't stick me in the in the Philippines.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say the kid is 99.9999 yours, right?
Yeah.
That means the most recent. So when they say the kid is 99.999 not yours, that means that 0.01 that these abos is always saying, that's the only way y'all related, and it's so far down the line of lineage, it could have been like, say, 600 years ago y'all was related. Am I right in that type of assessment?
Yes and no, but because they say, when we casually talk about these things, like we'll say something like you receive 50% of your DNA from your father, 50% from your mother, but 50% is not exactly 50%, and so
what I'm asking is, but they say the kid is 99% yours. Right. That means this kid's related to you the most recent. But when they say 99.999 not yours, that 0.01% is you're related, but it's so far down the line, it could have been like 600 years ago, meaning it's not recent that you're related to this person.
No, that's not. They said it is 99.99% yours.
No, not yours.
Like you did is not. That's what it's saying. Then no matter what you think, you got a less than 1% chance of that not being yours. Pay child.
Exactly.
That's what it's saying.
So that's what they're actually mixing up, is what I'm saying. They mixing up that 1% term.
Oh yeah, they just that. I mean, come on, man. Like,
no. I
you get different DNA markers. You don't get the exact same from your mother and your father.
Well, no
one's asking about the same. I'm saying the percentage is more so saying 99% is yours, but when it isn't yours, that's when the 0.1%, that's what they're trying to highlight. And I'm thinking, this is what I'm thinking, that they're interpreting that 0.01% wrong. They're trying to make it as accurate, but it's not in the sense of saying that y'all are related frequently, more recently.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but this is the thing. What you're describing is not what the abos are using that for. They're talking.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not like you're talking about something completely different than what they're using that for. What I mean when they say 0.1 or 0.01, they're not using it the way that you just said at all whatsoever.
Okay.
And what you said just now is true, but what they're saying has nothing to do with that. So in other words, your mitochondria, the mitochondria portion of your DNA only represents a very small portion of your overall genome. And so when you test for maternal lineage, you're testing this very small portion of your DNA. So they're interpreting that as, okay, it's only 0.1 or 0.01 accurate, and they're completely wrong. They're completely wrong about that. So what you're talking about is the recent relationship between markers matching. And so when they match 99.9% of those markers, they say, okay, that's definitely your child. And if it's a 99.9 that are no matches, and then at 0.1 that is give or take, like you just said, because ultimately, human beings can trace back. You get this bottlenecking effect the further back you go into history. Once you go, see, the autosomal testing is only good for 5 to 7 generations. And once you go beyond 5, it depends on which company. So the most is 7, but the average is 5. So between 5 and 7 generations, it is so diluted that it becomes negligible. You can't. It's not usable. It's not usable information. So that's what people have to understand.
And a generation is 25 years. Am I right?
In years, yes, it's 25 years. But when you speak generations, you're talking about lines. So from you, your parents will be one generation, your grandparents will be another one, regardless of the age. But in years is 25 years. But when in genetic talk, generations will be the line. On your parental line, your grandparent line, your great grand, your twice great, and your 3 great, etc. Once you go back,
so that's what.
Yeah. Once you go back,
500 years,
roughly. Mm-hmm. See, so on Facebook, when you see people post up their percentage from 23andMe or whatever, that's only one result. That's only the autosomal admixture results, and that's only recent ancestry. Like I said, that can only go back 5 to 7 generations. That's it. The what they call deep ancestry is when they test your Y and your MT DNA, your mitochondria and your Y DNA. That's when they could test deep ancestry, when they could go back thousands of years.
Oh, got you.
Right, so that's totally different.
We don't have an estimation of the thousands of years, though. Do we have an approximate, around about figure? 2,000 years, 2,500 years? What?
No, they could go back. Well, see what they do. They go back to your most recent mutation, so they don't have to go back further than that. So let's say for example, U, the maternal haplogroup U, and all of its subgroups come ultimately out of L. And so if your maternal haplogroup is U, they don't have to go back further than that. They could just say that you had a common ancestor with all the U's at a certain point in time. And they could give the estimate years ago and the geographical location.
Hey, Wuja, put that number back in there again, yo.
Huh?
Put the number back in there again.
Yeah, well, we got this troll, so I had blocked it. So let it calm down for a second. It's a little kid. He about past bedtime. We'll put it back in there.
Thank you for the teaching, man. I enjoy you guys, man, and thank you very much. I'll probably be linking with you guys shortly. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
What's funny, Wuja? I remember we was talking earlier that that nobody will deny the fact that you can get 2 different DNA companies and you take the DNA sample of your brother, right? 2 brothers, a brother and a sister. You take it and they'll come back and say, yes, that person is related to you, that would be your brother, right? No one's denying that. And so maybe let's say you're 13 years older than your brother. So are they trying to say that that yes, they can do that when it's only 13 years apart, but as it gets farther apart, then they can't do it. They can't take the test. The test is not accurate. So like the test is accurate when it's your sister, but it's no longer accurate when it's your great grandmother or your grandmother. Is that, you know what I'm saying? So won't nobody fight you on that? That, yeah, I took the test. They agree that that's possible for them to tell who your brother is and who your sister is. No one disagrees. They say, but they can't go back 1,000 years. So they can go back 13 years or 2 years or 1 year, but they can't go back farther than that. So my question is, where's the scientific journal on that actually purports that that's impossible to do?
Well, they make it up, and it's made up from the misunderstanding of how all of these tests work, like what is actually being analyzed and what is being extracted from the data that was analyzed. See, a lot of people just don't understand it at all. You know, so you have 3 different major test results from the same. So if you get your DNA sequenced, at the very least, we can tell 3 different stories from your DNA. All right. And so we have 3 different stories. One story is your admixture story, which is the percentages. And what that is telling people is what percentage of your DNA is shared by different genetic populations around the world. So when you see people post up the percentage, their percentages, it's saying that this is how much DNA you share with these people. Okay. And so if you are 60%, let's say you're 75% West African, that means 75% of your DNA matches
with people in West Africa.
People with West Africa. But that is your admixture test result, and that can only go back 5 to 7 generations. All right. Now, to go deeper than that or further back in history than that, they test your paternal line and your maternal line. And the reason why is because these particular sets or segments of your DNA, they mutate much, much, much slower over longer periods of time. And they're not a result of what's called recombination that takes place when your nuclear DNA passes on, because the 23 chromosomes you get from your mother and the 23 that you get from your father adds up to 50% of each parent. You get 50% from each parent, but you do not get the same 50% among that's spread out through your siblings. So if you have a brother or a sister, you got 50% from your mother and 50% from your father, but your brother or your sister also got 50% from each parent, but not the exact same 50%.
Facts.
And so what's included in that 50% may be excluded from the 50% you got.
Facts.
And so this is what makes up this slight difference. So you become a unique, genetically unique entity.
Combination of traits.
Exactly. So people have to understand. People have to understand that. So, but that's only good and valuable enough back 5 to 7 generations. Now, if we want to go back further, we had to test your paternal and maternal lineage that could take us back 1,000 years, because
then everybody connected to that, though. You feel me?
I got a question. Would y'all?
Yes.
Free.
What do you think about the difference between SNP and STR?
Hold on. Wait. Freeze that.
Okay.
We're going to take a quick break. Yo, open them lines back up. Hey, man, look. Got the boots. Y'all see them?
Hold on 1 second. Let me get it on the screen. Keep it up.
Y'all go. Y'all already know what it is, man. RBGs, plain and simple. All right? Here we go. So everybody, organizations with boots, come holler at me, man. Gonna work a deal with you. Get them in bulk. You feel me? Much cheaper than going out spending with the Europeans. Feel me? Everybody running around how about Black Power, and go support your go support the cause that's fighting against you. That don't make no sense, man. He's comfortable, all right, well put together, and y'all, man, come on, man. Done it again. Y'all get these on the ABJUWEAR site. That's ABJUWEAR. Also go to amarawsquad.org. I'm gonna put them up there. Yeah. There you go. The Nat Turners. Yeah, y'all do it for real. All right. So ain't no need of spending that money. You know what I'm saying? You got gun clubs. I'm expecting everybody to wear boots to get these. I'd be highly disappointed if y'all didn't. I wouldn't understand it. Right? So, man, I just appreciate the support, man. Go ahead. Go to abjuway.com, man, and do that, man. Yep. Drop the link, Sister Kava, if you can. And so, let me see. They cut a little big. So, like, I wear a 10.5 and I'm fitting a 10. Like a half size big. We got sizes all the way up to 15. And they slick. So, yep. Another niggas shoe. So y'all know we carry the niggas brand with Abju. And man, I just appreciate all the support. All right. So there you have it. Go ahead, would y'all open up the line? You can't open up the line now?
It's open.
All right, put that line back down there again so people can call in.
All right. So what was brother was about to ask something or say something.
42. 42. I'm trying to figure out.
Oh yeah, I was asking if you're familiar with the differences between STR and SNP testing, because I have some experience with it, but I'm also stuck. Like I have my understanding is abbreviated. I think it's correct, but that's all I have is an abbreviated understanding that I'm not sure about.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, what, can you be more specific, or what's your understanding of it?
My understanding is that STR tests are about probably the best tests for telling who you are, but they're really bad at telling who else you are. So it's basically what people share your genes, and whoever has the most genes, that's who you are, and that fits. It usually works. It might be better than S&P in that sense. But for a lot of people who are mixed or from like a really diverse region, like in Ethiopia or something, it won't tell them like that they're Tigray and Oromo. Like it'll just say you're one, whoever you have the most of, and it won't split it off because a lot of people in like that region, this is just an example, they're related to people outside Africa, so it's going to struggle with who you're mixed with. So that's the only thing I know about. Maybe a little bit more, but that's the only thing I can speak about.
Okay, well, I mean, the difference is, as far as the companies, people can look into the companies and see what they're actually testing, what they're dealing with. So, like for example, if we take 23andMe, they test the whole mitochondrial genome. And so they deal with the single nucleotide polymorphisms. And so if you have the and then in the name, you'll see the difference. So you have the STR, I think, which stands for, if I'm not mistaken, the tandem repeaters, the short tandem repeaters. And so you have the single nucleotide polymorphism. So you have these changes in a single nucleotide, and it could be many of them. So that's why they use the word poly. And so testing for these two different things will give you different results. And so this is something that we all should become familiar with, so that we'll know the value of the information. Like, if you get your DNA sequence and then these companies are giving you these reports, a lot of people don't understand what they are actually holding in their hands or they're reading. And so what these companies started to do was to go on campaigns to really educate people on their various websites and so on and so forth, or even in the package that they send you back or whatever. And so they try to bring people up to speed to explain what these reports are saying and how valuable it is and what the limitations are and all that good stuff. So, if we deal with a specific company or a specific test, then that would be probably the best way to show the difference between the SNPs and the STRs, and everything. But in general, I mean, people could just look up single nucleotide polymorphisms and look up short tandem repeaters. And when you read about it, you'll see why they call it that, and you see what it involves. But as far as how the companies deal with it, then you have to deal with the individual company and see what they, what they make use of and everything. But one thing, I mean, now that gets into some little fine detail. But what people have to really just get a grips of is the three different major stories that your DNA can tell, which is what these companies give, and they're confusing it. They're confusing it. I know the Aboriginal, Native American proponents, they really confuse it. And even when they use the Rick Kittle's video and try to say, 0.1 or 0.01 or whatever the case is, anybody looking at that, even the 60 Minutes host that actually, was talking or commentating on that segment of 60 Minutes that long ago, you could tell that she was confused about it, and she confused it, and it's very misleading. But you wouldn't know that until you get understanding. I think we got another person on the line.
Video and try to say 0.1 or 0.01 or whatever the case is. Anybody looking at that?
Hey, caller, we got you from 313. If you're there, if you can hear me through here, you can mute your YouTube side, and the floor is yours.
I ain't saying nothing. Get them boots. Go ahead, bro.
313.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, hey, how you doing, man? It's Clark Con Jackson calling from Michigan.
What's good, bro?
By the way of Liberia.
Okay. So you in Liberia?
Yeah. No, I'm actually here in Michigan. But I was actually born in Liberia.
Oh, I got you. By way of, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize for that. My question is, I got the first question is Upper Egypt. Norma is from Upper Egypt, if I'm not mistaken, right? That united both Upper and Lower Egypt. Am I kind of right or wrong?
Yeah, he's
from the south.
He's attributed to uniting Upper and Lower Kemet. Yep.
Yeah, because I always had some battles with with some cats on YouTube. They say Norma was actually from like the Levant, Middle East. They came down into Africa. Because I see the white crown. Because I was looking, I said the white crown, isn't this usually from Upper? Cause you know what I'm saying? So I always get confused. And when I argue with them, when I have a conversation with them, and I always I'll ask. They say, well, the Nubian and the Egyptian, what you want to call it, or the Kemites, they never agree with themselves. I said, but they share similar deity. And I say, also, if I'm not really deep into it, but I kind of understand like the basic. Most of the gods in Egypt, I mean, the deities that represent Egypt, if I'm not mistaken, don't they come from Nubia? Or maybe I'm wrong. Like Asar, Hadru, isn't he from Nubia? Am I right or mistaken for me?
Okay, well let's slow down just a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. First we have to have an understanding that the Egyptian deities, the Neteru, they're not real people. So
yeah, exactly.
So they don't come from anywhere literally. So when people are saying that they're talking about the concepts or the ideas that these Neteru represent, and whether the people brought them from elsewhere outside of geographical location known as Kemet. And so you do have some deities. You have to remember that Kemet in and of itself is an amalgamation of different African communities coming together and descending upon the Nile. So you have different migrations prior to the dynastic periods of Kemet, where people left the Sahara when it dried up and came over into the Nile and back and forth. You had that back and forth movement for a while until people became sedentary around the Nile and stayed there. So at the end of the day, even upon the unification of Kemet as a polity to become a country itself, prior to that, you had different groups of people that were there. We had different people. I mean, you would think that people, children, could be to bed by now. It's crazy. So,
I had somebody in the background. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's All right, there we go. All right, so
okay.
So what I was saying is that so we have to understand that Kemet is an amalgamation of different African communities. All right, first. And so the concepts and these principles that became deities, what people call as deities and everything, some of them come from outside of geographical location of what we call Kemet. And so what you're calling Nubia is not really Nubia. That's a misnomer. You have a location, because really, just this is for the listening audience real quick. Nubia is actually within Kemet. Okay. Anytime we are talking about Nubia, you're talking about at the very least 2 locations within the borders of Kemet. And these were called Gold Town. The word Nub means gold. And so 2 locations known today, popularly known as Ombos and Kom Ombo. Both of those cities are in the borders of Kemet. And so that's why I say Nubia is a misnomer. What people are really talking about is the territory south of Kemet, which is called Ta-Nehisi. So the Nehisiu, so there are principles and deities that came from that region or came from the people of that region. So I just want to kind of slow it so people get a better picture of that. So you do have
Tahiti is where you from that candle, right? With Osar on it. It's like, I think it was incense, like an incense burner. Is that what you're talking about?
You have to be specific. I'm not sure what incense.
I think they say they found an incense burner. Like a candle. I don't know what it was. It showed that Kemet was much older. I mean, it came from the south with this founding of I think it was a candle, or it was I saw on it on I may be mistaken. I forget. You know what I'm saying? It was the burning incense, the burning candle, whatever.
Now,
you know what I'm talking about?
Now, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're referring to. But it's not a sorry. You're talking about there was a king, an enthroned king that's on there with the hedge crown, the white crown.
Yes, sir.
That's what you're referring to? Yep. Okay, right.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I was asking. That's the location. They is that where's it called Tasseti, right? Is that where they found that? That's all I was asking. Is that the location? That they found that Haruk, the king at that time, symbol that was on that candle, or I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? On that little.
I believe I do. If you knew the name of it, then we could be specific. But I believe I know what you're talking about. If you're talking about the old artifact where you have the enthroned king on it, and it's pretty damaged, but you can, people have reproduced it in terms of drawings and stuff. If you're talking about that,
yes, sir. Yep.
Then yes. So you're talking about the but yes, but you're saying Tasseti. I didn't say Tasseti. I said Ta-Nehisi. But you do have you do have a Tasseti as well, and Tasseti will be the southernmost nome of Kemet itself. So Tasseti was a region from further south of Nome. So again, so and the reason why I'm bringing this up and I'm being kind of a stickler with it is because what people try to do today is they want to pit what they're calling Nubia and Kush against Kemet, not as in an opposition or bad thing, but they want to say that Kush and Nubia is the parents or grandparents of Kemet, and then people want to focus on Kush and Nubia because there's a lot of focus on Kemet. But then when you actually go into Kush and Nubia and you compare the records between those regions and Kemet far surpasses that in terms of available attested data and artifacts and so on and so forth. So what people tend to do, they tend to use that as an excuse not to study, because if you want to study Kush and Nubia, there's not much literature and documentation left behind that survived today to actually study. So it becomes an easier route, an easier thing. And then people start to speculate and make up things. And so, to eliminate that, if we become very, very detailed, what a lot of people are trying to do, they really can't do, because what they think they're talking about, they're still talking about Kemet. That's why I say Nubia is really in Kemet. Nubians are really Egyptians, because Komombo and Ombos is within the borders of Kemet. Even Ta Seti is within the borders of Kemet.
Okay, now.
Hey, Woo, we're at about 2 hours and something, yo.
All right.
We don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so yeah, this will be the last caller. So you had one more thing to say. So we're not gonna take any more new ones, but go ahead.
Now, you know how European history, when you talk about the Vandals, you're talking about so forth and so forth. When the Anglo and the Saxon, they never had a written script. I think I'm right. I'm right about that, right? Pretty much.
I'm not familiar with you said the Vandals. That's not
I'm talking about any of the Germanic tribes. We don't have any record of their of them having any kind of type text or anything like that, right?
No, the Romans had, Romans was writing.
But the Romans ain't Germanic people though, right?
They come from Germanic people.
Yeah. Oh, you okay? Now,
no, they wasn't writing. That's why they called them barbarians. They
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said they used to be in the forest, butt naked, and so forth and so on. So they didn't think they were one of them or nothing like that. Pretty much, that's what I'm saying, right?
Nah. They ain't think that. Just like the Twana Hutu don't think they come from the same place, but they do though. You know what I'm saying? If you ever look at the Vikings and all that,
right?
You look at the Nordstroms, which is really the Vikings, and you look at the Danes and the Swedes and all the wars they fought and all that. It was basically tied together for real. But how would you know that?
The Romans were probably more ancestral to the Germans.
Oh, okay. So are they?
Probably they kids from like 10,000 years ago, and they look down on them, not knowing their relationship, because they developed their idea of civilization separately. So, and at one point, the Germans were behind the Romans significantly. So that was probably just a narrative theirs. They just looked down on them because they were so far behind.
Right. Okay. So, and the Greeks are consider their beginning stages, right? Of being civil or being civilized, right? It started with the Greeks and it passed down to the Romans, and then to the Germanic tribe, pretty much, right?
What do you mean by civilized, though?
I thought when you I'm using their terminology because they saying that writing is part of being civilized. I'm not saying that would be considered. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying their meaning of being civilized is writing, because I heard a lot of them, especially in South Africa. It was a group, I forgot the name of the group, but these white boys saying that the Zulus can be civilized because they don't have no writing scripts or nothing like that. They never had a written script, and I was like, well, to myself, I'm like, your Germanic people never had a written script. You guys are using the Romans' written script to tell your stories about whatever the case may be. So you can't just blame it on the Zulus and say, well, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's not you. I mean, yeah. So I mean, what's civilized is what the way you treat your fellow man. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know, you govern the way you govern yourself.
Right. Okay. Yep.
You feel me? Because then you can just start picking out Native American tribes. You can pick out tribes in the Amazon and all that, and call them not civilized because they don't got a written script and all that. So
right,
the
right.
question would be, how civilized is it to drop a thermonuclear weapon on some people? Not once,
damn right.
twice.
Yeah, you're right.
How civilized
right.
is it to put people in an oven and kill them and use a pseudoscience like eugenics? How civilized is that? How civilized is it to enslave and capture people and put them in housing projects and put them in all kind of cave? Like, is that civilized? Is that civilized?
You're right about that.
Right,
but
so
I was just
play the game all the way. How they want to play it? We could play it all the way now.
Right, you're right. Hey, one more question before I get off the phone. My grandmother, she's from the Va tribe, right? And I was reading that the West Africa Va. She was teaching me how to write in her Va so-called text, and And I was told that that Va script came from there was a Native American guy that went to Liberia, and he married one of the ruler daughter or something like that, and taught them how to write the Va script. Do you have anything on that?
No, I don't. But you could definitely refer it to the Masis. They might.
The Masi, all the way in East Africa?
No. This is West Africa.
Oh, the Masi. Okay.
It's a good question.
Say that again.
I said that'd be a great question for them, and I know they're hearing your question right now.
Oh, the Masi. The Masi. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's what's up.
He's talking about the Masi clan warriors.
Masi clan warrior clan, yo.
Not the actual Masi over in Africa.
Oh, you talking about with old buddy from Hieroglyph, right? Whatever.
We have Nahisi is on now. He's probably can't unmute himself, but brother Nahisi, we have brother Ben, etc. So they give presentations.
On the Masi clan too. That's what I'm telling you. They specialize in West African history.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah. But I hope I was trying to get what you were asking because earlier it sounded like you were saying some things, but I didn't really hear a question earlier about the when you mentioned Namir or Namir and the South. The base of the I was trying to based on the question, I was just trying to I was actually trying to tell these European guys who saying that it started in the Middle East and worked down. It's like, well, Norma, he had the white crown, and the white crown symbolized Upper Egypt, which is like the southern. Like the southern part, and I was like, if he came down south and united upper, he was a uniter. That means he's really coming from the heart of Africa. I mean, from that direction, it can't come up. That's what I was saying, and also they was also saying, well, then I was talking about the zoology of the animal they use, and I was saying that if you do a study and you find out the bamboo, you only can find that in like heart of Africa. Like if you go
to East Africa, if you go to Ethiopia, then you can probably find that at the tip of. I'm talking about the etymology of where they came from. Like the majority of them are found. The baboon, I forgot the name of it. But it's actually the location that is mostly found. It's not in Egypt. You can't find that baboon in Egypt. You can only find that in the tip of what's the country?
Well, let me say this. All right, let me say
no,
this.
not South Africa. Not South Africa. Next to Ethiopia, like east of Ethiopia, but at the tip. What's the name? Huh?
Kenya? Uganda?
No, Eritrea.
No. When I say east, right? Just pick. I know there's Ethiopia. Then at the Horn is Somalia. Then the east of Somalia, and then a different country. It's
Somali,
it's
Ethiopia, Eritrea. In that area.
Then it's another Arab country on the right, but at the tip. Saudi Arabia. Is that Saudi Arabia?
No, Saudi Arabia is huge. but wait a minute.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
But hold up, but let's
talking about the tip.
Yemen. Thinking of Yemen?
Nah, Yemen is still.
Say that again?
You talking about Yemen?
Yemen's on the tip.
But Yemen.
Yeah, I think that is Yemen. But is that Yemen?
Yemen is
Hold on, I gotta look at the map.
Yemen is on the other side of the Red Sea.
If it's like the Asian equivalent of Somalia,
but it's on the other side of the Red Sea. But listen, but this I think I get your point. So you're arguing with people who are trying to claim that the Egyptians originate in the Middle East.
White. Yeah,
we're white. Right. Now I'm gonna tell you that is a very old argument that has been refuted time and time again. 1970s. Dr. Theophilo Benga and Sheikh Anta Diop, that was one of the issues that they addressed at the UNESCO conference. So if you want to kind of get up to speed, you could start there with the UNESCO. Get the different books. I believe it's in book. What is it? Book 3? Because it's a series of books. Document. I forget which particular book.
Which one are you talking about?
The UNESCO conference.
You're talking about the 74, the 74 conference, right?
Conference. There's a series of books. There's book 1, 2, 3, I think 1 through 6.
8, 9. No, it ain't.
Well, it's the peopling of and the makeup of
that's
Egyptians.
book 1.
Book 1? Okay. Well, if you seek that out, read that, get fill your mind with that information. And then there's a lot of other information that's used in several different disciplines. You got linguistics, you got archaeology.
What about the baboon though? He's saying that
what? No, I was talking about when you go to the afterlife, the underworld. He's with Jehudi. Is that Jehudi? The baboon, I forgot the name of the name. Was it?
Well, see, I was trying to help you out because it's not. That's what I'm saying. That question, because your whole point is to argue against this foreign origin of the Egyptians, that they're not African. They're from either Middle East or some European or some West Asian people. And I'm saying that there's so many things that will refute that. You got linguistics that will refute it. You even have the writing system itself. You have the glyphs themselves. The glyphs themselves are made up of the natural flora and fauna that is only found in the Nile Valley corridor. So if people came from West Asia or Asia, you'll see tigers or some other animals and plants within their repertoire of glyphs that they would use when they invented the writing system around 3320 BCE. So you have that. You have the language itself, the spoken language, and its affinities and its genetic relationships to the languages within Africa. And then you have the literature itself that tell you the kingship itself comes from the South. So that white crown and the artifact that I think you're talking about the artifact that they found in what they call in Nubia, but it's really at the edge of Kemet and Sudan today. It would be the edge of Kemet and Sudan today, but it's a cemetery of older rulers there. And so and on there is depicted what you're saying. If you were talking about the same thing, it's depicted the white crown or the hedge crown of
Right.
that was used in Upper Kemet, which is south on our maps today, but in Upper Kemet. So if kingship comes from the south, you know, all these different things can be used to kind of refute that. But you know, there's books that actually refute it. So you know, that will help you out in the argument. But
Understood.
right. But when you standing there talking to someone, it's you know, it's but so much that you could say, and then they're gonna have something to say or whatever the case is. But a lot of that argument has been pretty much put to rest at this point. You have straggler people who want to still push that, and you have to remember that there was a racial motivation behind that originally, because when Egyptology was born in the early 1800s, you have slavery going on, and so when the Europeans were coming out of their Renaissance and they were rediscovering their Greek heritage and Roman heritage, they saw that the Greeks and Romans gave a lot of homage and praises to Egypt. So then they focused on Egypt, and it was a race to find out the secrets of Egypt and how they did what they did, how they built what they built, and the secrets of the universe and whatever. And so when they started to excavate and to research in Egypt, they found such marvelous things that they could not let Africans know that they were Africans, that the Egyptians were Africans, that Africans were responsible for that, because it would be stupid on their part to let the people that they're trying to enslave and call barbarians and call, you know, primitive people, don't know any better, and wild savages, to say, hey, look what you did over there in the East Africa, and you built this and you built that. And matter of fact, our forefathers give you homage. So they couldn't do that. So they had to rule out that Egypt was an African entity. And so this is something that Sheikh Anta Diop and Dr. Teofilo Benga officially and formally pushed back on at that UNESCO conference. So just to kind of bring you up on that. So that's where that motivation comes from. You still have authors today, like matter of fact, Mustafa Godala, I believe that's his name. He wrote a book. I may be pronouncing his name wrong, but Mustafa Godala wrote a book, and if you, I have it somewhere, but if you actually look in his book, and that's a modern book, and a lot of people use it. A lot of people today use it. But even on the early pages, I think the first 15 pages or 19 so pages, he says that the origins of the Egyptians are Caucasians, which is crazy. And a lot of people in the African American community and even African centered teachers or whatever will use his works, not knowing that that's his position. And that's what he wrote in his book. So you know, we have to be careful, but you know, just give you a few things to kind of put your eyes on, so you be equipped to have these conversations with whoever you're debating with.
Before I get off, the general contractor at it again with you and Sarnetta and Amos. Shaka Amos. He's on. I said he throwing some shots. He throwing shots at you, you guys, man, on his channel.
What do you say?
Well, he was actually attacking what's that? The demonic what's the name of that? It was the statue of what it show you, the demonic and the Greek writing, but on top is supposedly
Rosetta Stone. Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, the Rosetta Stone. Damn, and he was saying that the writing, the carving, is not deep enough. I mean, it's just laying there. He says it's a fake. He calling it a fake, and he was going over Sinnet and Amos, Shaka Amos stating, he say something, I don't know what he say. He say something bad about you, but the only thing I can remember was he was talking about Sinetta and Shaka Amos. It was a picture of this guy having the same haircut. It was a cartoon figure like of Shaka with the ponytail, and it was supposedly another Egyptian guy giving the dude head, and he said that's Sinetta, that's Sinetta, and Shaka almost don't gay thing or whatever the case may be. But yeah, he's at it again. He's saying that the metal natter has not been, deciphered, and you guys are doing your ancestor wrong by saying that. You listen to white European. He going hard on it. He going hard on it.
That's some old shit.
This is a brand new one. He been throwing some old videos up, but I forgot the name of. But yeah, that's a new video. This ain't something old. But he on his channel now. He got a lot of I don't know, him and Sinetta agreed for him to grab some of the videos that was on Sinetta's old channel and shit like that. But he got some of them posted on his channel. But his new thing when he's talking about it's about you guys is brand new. I could tell you real quick which one.
Okay, let me just say something. I'm gonna say something real quick. The book that you see on the screen right now, that everybody can see right there, this is the book that got SETI shook. SETI cannot refute this book. We wrote this book prior to the so-called debate that was supposed to go down between SETI and Young Pharaoh and the Amon-Ra squad about that particular subject of this Metanetra not being deciphered. We wrote this book prior to that event. And this book to this very day can't nobody refute it. And I will tell SETI to put some money down if he can refute this book. So we wrote this book, and this is the book that got him shook. So he could talk all he wants to around it, but he cannot refute anything in this book because SETI and Young Pharaoh get their information, or they're repeating what Professor Walter Williams put in his book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I believe it's the African origin or historical origins of Christianity, and he did one about Islam. In the appendix of those books is what Professor Walter Williams made some certain claims. So we go through those claims step by step, and we did this book in part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is educating people on how the writing system works and how it maps to the language, and then in part 2 we go step by step, point for point on all of the claims that are being made. Every single thing that SETI says has already been taken care of. So he's rehashing old things, and it's really irrelevant at this point until somebody can address this book.
The name of the video is called "False Teaching of the Metal Natter" Part 1, SETI and Young Pharaoh. It's a brand new one. That's the name of it.
Don't anybody watch it? Offer them, ignore them. They're irrelevant.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, because it sounds
they're fishing for ignorance.
It sounds like
out online to catch people who are gullible. And one way you can tell that it's BS is they're constantly referencing stuff that would only be known if it was deciphered in the same video, constantly in the same video where they're saying that it's not deciphered. So if you're smart enough to pick up on that, the only thing you can really offer them is to say, hey, blah, blah, blah. But what they'll do is they'll ban you, and then you have the whole cult thing going on. And that's just what we've become. We got some tribal cult leaders, like it's the fallout of a war or something.
Yeah, and I just want to say again, the video, even though you're saying it's a new video, it's actually old information.
Okay.
It's old. He recently probably put it back up because I think his channel, he has some issues with his channel or whatever the case is. But my whole point is that all of those things were already addressed, and that's why we put it in the book format so that we won't have to keep rehashing these things over and over again. So
check this out, man. I might go watch it just to get re-mad again. Because anytime I feel like catching them wild ass corns, I absolutely will. I'll get a whim, and I'll make a video. Right. Yeah, because it's total ignorance, right? Permeating. Okay, he's teaching ignorance. He come from the level, right? He been around the level, and he turned to charlatanism. He's a charlatan in our community, both of them. Plain and simple. Now they want to teach African spirituality. You know what I'm saying? How you going to teach African spirituality? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know. How you going to talk about Metanetra? It's not deep enough. Where's that at? Who taught you that? Who told you that there's a certain inch that the Metanetra had to be inscribed inside of? Like, really, where's this coming from? That's how you know it ain't real. Like, say anything at this point. That's what it is. Say anything out your mouth. Anything. Say anything. And see, the mark of a coward is someone who had the chance to back up everything they saying, but decided to run and just keep talking without facing the person that they should have said it against. See, he'll go down in history as a coward. Both of them. Cowards. Right? Plain and simple. So when you see the word coward, put their two pictures there. They're cowards. Plain and simple, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of show that. But yeah, brother, you may be, you feel that it may be a new video, but it's an old video. So really all of that's irrelevant. And I suggest people get the book. You'll benefit from getting this book, and you'll be equipped yourself. Matter of fact, I suggest you get it. And when you read it, you'll realize how real silly all of the arguments are. And just to give you a quick example, right? You know that Professor Walter Williams and those two brothers, they will ask a question, put it out there, and say, well, how do you put sounds to symbols? And you don't have to be a linguist. You don't even have to know Meta Nature or even be interested in it to see how ridiculous that is. Because if you speak English and you write English, then the same question can be asked about the English alphabet. We have 26 letters in the English alphabet, which are symbols. So how and why, or how did sounds get assigned to those then?
Oh, right.
Like the letter B, capital or lowercase b. How did a sound get assigned to that? I mean, so that's just how silly it is. To say that you can't put sounds to symbols. And that's exactly what a writing system is. A writing system is the visual representation of speech. And so just real quick, let me ask you a question. I'm gonna do a test with you real quick. How many vowels are in the English language?
Hello?
Yeah, how many vowels are in the English language?
I would say it was an A-E-I-O-U 5.
No, go ahead. I didn't hear you. Say it again. A-E-I-O-U. Okay.
So
So
it's 5.
Okay, and then sometimes Y. They say A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, now I do this all the time. So by me doing this and everybody can hear it, then when I try to test somebody else, they probably gonna be hip to it. But anyway, so they say 5 or 6 in the English language. Now this is what I want you to do. I'm gonna spell something and I want you to pronounce it. Pronounce this word, F-A-T.
Fat.
Okay. Now pronounce this word, F-A-T-E.
Fate.
Okay. Now pronounce this word, F-A-T-H-E-R.
Say again.
F-A-T-H-E-R.
Father.
Okay. Now say those words again, but now I want you to emphasize the A, because you said A was one of the vowels. So
yeah.
So F-A-T. Pronounce it again.
F-A-T is fat.
All right, so it's A. The A has an A sound, right? A.
Yeah.
Right? Now say F-A-T-E.
Fate.
Now the A has an A sound. Fate.
Right.
Fate. Now pronounce F-A-T-H-E-R.
Oh, got the father.
Okay.
Father.
Now I want you to note that those are 3 distinct different vowel sounds. Mm-hmm. Correct? But they all use the same character or the same symbol to write it. So
okay.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So you have a, and ah that are distinct sounds, but they use the same exact symbol to when you write it. Now, right. when I ask you the question, how many vowels are in the English language? It is wrong to say 5 or 6. There's actually 20 vowels in the English language, but there's only 5 or 6 characters that are used to represent those 20. So it's information like this that SETI, Farrell, or Professor Williams, and anybody who thinks like them and supports that they don't understand. And so a lot of people make these claims out of ignorance, and it takes people that that put in the study to educate these people. So that's why I wanted to do this example with you, so that even people listening can see that there's a lot more to it than this that people have to know. So a lot of people make these claims out of ignorance. So I just want to use that as an example. So remember, a, and ah are three different vowel sounds, but they use the same symbol. And so this is how sounds can get mapped to a writing system or to characters. All right. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. And
good teaching, man. I really appreciate it. Good teaching.
But anyway, we've been gone way beyond the 2-hour mark, and I know
you did it on purpose. I tried to stop you an hour ago. You wouldn't do it.
How I stopped me an hour ago when you asked the brother about the baboon. It was more about the baboon and everything. So
no dang on baboon.
I appreciate you guys answering my call. Yo, I was actually I fell asleep because you know how you guys were saying it's going 2 hours before the show starts. So I was waiting. I'm like, damn. And I was waiting for when it got to 35 minutes, and I fell asleep. I got up. I'm like, damn. Let me go rush and ask my little questions. Sure enough, you know, you guys, I'm kind of happy you guys answered my call though. But sorry for calling too late.
Nah, you ain't late. We got like 3 more. Who else on here? You good, bro? Appreciate you.
I just wanted to sign off. Before I sign off.
No, 42. Hold on. No, hold on, 42. No, you don't. You ain't gonna run out of game. Hey,
well,
we
I
got
wanted to say something to the call.
The 321. Where you at? 321. Where you at? 321. Area code 321.
You gotta unmute yourself. 321. You unmuted. If you had a comment, question.
Hello,
comment.
Can you hear me?
Yep. I can hear you.
What's your question?
Oh, okay. How y'all doing?
All right. Good.
I really like that explanation you gave about the vowels. That's fantastic insight.
Yeah, because there's a difference between vowel sounds, the sounds. The phonology of a language is something that people need to become a little bit more familiar with, and it's distinct sounds, even though it's the same character. Because I even see somebody in the chat say it don't mean more sounds or whatever. These are distinct vowel sounds, and they use the same character to write it because of the closeness of the sounds. And so it's only 5 to 6 characters that are used in the English language, in the English writing system, which is really from Latin script to represent these different sounds. But go ahead. I was just making it clear.
It's really it really shows the way you can open up and think about things. And I think that's really good, encouraging people to think a little bit harder or a little bit more on things that are just right in front of them. My eyes got opened a little bit ago to this, the whole thing about ideologies and belief systems, and that, you don't have to subscribe to just, one way of thinking. And for the longest time, that's just how I just came up with this. You think about things just one way. And just hearing you say that is just another example of you can think about things in another way and truly appreciate it from all kinds of angles. Do you think that there are certain either religious groups or ideologies that just get a free pass when it comes to things that need to be changed or just shouldn't be practiced, but they just continue on anyway, and nobody says nothing about it?
Well, it kind of depends on the company you keep, because if you live in the Bible Belt, then a lot of people are influenced by the Bible, and sometimes people don't feel like, in the day-to-day living, you don't feel like having an argument and debate with people every day. So sometimes you just have this unwritten rule that you agree to disagree, as people would say. Or how you have family members that don't believe as you believe, or whatever, and you go to the house and you have family reunions. As long as they don't bring up the topic of religion or their beliefs, everything is all good. Yeah. And then some people, you just let them have it. So to that sense, that what you just described does happen, but that has to change. Go ahead.
I feel like there's certain cults that kind of pass themselves off as like mainstream religions that people I think people by and large give a little bit more on their tolerance level if you hear them say they're a certain religion.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like you just give a little, you just give them that. Oh, don't worry, they that, so you could just give them that. But when it's family and stuff, I feel like that should supersede your ideologies or whatever. If your religion is telling you that you need to cut off families, they don't think the way you think. I feel like that should be a warning bell for you to go, you know what? I don't know that I should do that. Why am I cutting off my blood and the people that care about me for your people and what, to help y'all out? I just don't understand that people can just do that.
It's called religion.
It's called
religion.
It's
called religion and cult-like behavior.
Okay.
And so that
it ain't right.
That pass you talking about.
It ain't right.
Yeah, that pass you talking about. They really don't get a pass because nature don't give passes.
Well, tell me how people can just you go up to a bus stop and you see them people with the magazines and they got their cart there or whatever and they got the magazines. They just sit there, right? They sit there all day. You don't know that lady or that man hadn't talked to their son in about 15 years because they don't want to do that religion, right? And he don't know what's going on in the next generation's family life. You know what I mean? Because they didn't cut it off because that's what their religion.
Yeah, that's why they call it a cult, though.
Right. Well, they over here trying to get people to get into that, and all that seems to do is break up families and cause all this drama. But they out there doing that. I don't know, man. It's like.
But you were saying why they get a pass, though?
I feel like you just want to shake somebody. You know what I mean? So say, hey, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, then you'll be like a cult if you start doing that. You can't shake people, man. So watch this. So I'm saying you think no one gets a pass in nature. So the fact of the matter that you have allowed your family to be broken apart based off your beliefs, then that's consequences to that. You know what I'm saying? You won't be around your children raising them, or you know what I'm saying? You won't be around your mother or your father, your brother.
I feel like it's more than just, dude. I feel like it's more than just, you're missing out on family, because there's other beliefs that these people have. Like there's people dying every day in the hospital because they don't want to do what the doctors tell them to do. Oh, that don't flow with what they said I'm allowed to do. You can't do that procedure on me. You're gonna die, right? Oh well, I'm gonna just be in paradise when I die, because I'm not gonna. You got people that care about you over here. You know what I'm saying? They making them decisions for these little kids.
That's your choice, though. That's your choice as a human.
No, I'm saying, like, check this out. You got a 12-year-old kid sitting in the hospital talking about they need this blood transplant or whatever it is, and the parent making the call for them talking about something. Well, that's not part of our.
That's their choice.
That's their children. But that kid got a life too. You mean tell me he can't? I don't think it's right. I just don't think it's right over here.
I'm just saying. I mean, what's right and what's wrong will make another whole world, right?
Huh?
I said, what's right and what's wrong is relative, meaning that right and wrong ain't no right and wrong. It's just consequences. Yeah.
Consequences.
Yeah, it's just consequences. What's the consequences of that decision? You might lose your child. That's the consequence. But was they right? Or was they wrong? To them, they would say, man, they son going to glory. I'm just telling you. Yeah, so you can't be tripping out on that. You got to let everybody make their choice, make their decision. And so that's why we educate around here, as not to put people in those vicarious positions when they decide not to be with their family based off of a biblical white boy teaching. Because when you deal with Charles Taze Russell, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Woo.
Right?
Yeah.
Dealing with that type of mindset. The question is, us with the proper history, why don't we have a band of people to go around and knock on doors and give them real material on science and technology and real history? See, that's the real point.
Right.
See, what's the joke? You know, I've been trying to put that together for years. But what's the joke in that? You need funding, things got to be right. Then you get people to come into the community, misappropriate funds and monies, and just it's a bunch of folly. And so to actually let your kid down the hospital is a bunch of folly. To come in and take money from the community is a bunch of folly. The whole community has turned into a segmented cult. You know what I'm saying? Where there's charismatic leaders all around us, right? Charlatans, misinformation. And when you come with the real information, the information that will help you compete on the world stage, the level, which is the competition on the world stage, right? Man, that shit becomes, it's like you giving pearls to swine. They laugh at you. They throw tomatoes at you. Oh, the Raw Squad teach white boy science, and then try to defeat it with ignorant white people information. Like, is that somebody talking or somebody doing a thing, Wuja?
Nah, we got rid of the troll. I think somebody unmuted. We got a background noise. Go ahead, keep going.
So yeah, let's just go to another caller while we on here, man. But you know what I mean, that is what you know. Only education can stop our community from going down there, and then you still can go people and call. All right, 313.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you, brother. 313, your line is open. What's good?
I want No Sleep Enterprise to come in. He said that the vial demonstration was pseudo.
All right, man. He's just retarded, man. Some people just not gonna get it, man.
I mean I don't know how crystal clear that you can make it.
Yeah, I know. 313, where you at? 313.
Hold up, make sure that
that ain't muted.
It's not muted. So 313, your line is open. If you so maybe going to somebody else. Who's 386? Oh, it is 313. Go ahead.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Yeah, you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Now if you're in here, you could type if you had a short question, whatever, you could type it over on the side. If you hit the chat part, if you even on your phone, just you'll see a little icon say you could chat, you could type it in. So let us know. But we're gonna go on to somebody else. So we have 386. 386. I'm about to unmute you. So you're unmuted. I don't know if you have a question or comment, but you're unmuted.
Peace and Black African power. I just got statements. This is Jolanda Zachary from Daytona Beach, Florida. And I just wanted to let people know that it's not hard to seek out information. If you got to start with Google. If you have a question, put in the Google and go find out, and then go from the references there. If you don't have books, if that's too hard for you, then follow people who have great scholarship like Waju and Ankh, Amaraskwa, Masi Warrior Clan. And they have archives of information and videos that you can follow that will answer all these questions, because we be going in circles. And the reason why I say this, because I get a lot of flack from people like, why you deal with that debate? Oh, that's not necessary. Some of it is necessary. It's necessary to get our minds right so we can move right. We can't be divisive on this Abo thing, on the religion thing. Like, if you believe in African centeredness, if you believe in an African ideology, then that's what it is. Learn as much as we can about that as we progress and learn more about other cultures, other things, our culture. But, scientific theory is fact. And, for now, until things change, and understand that. And as I've been taught, us as a people, we're not going to move further. We're not going to evolve if we don't get with STEM. And that means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which Africans are the progenitors of those disciplines. And that's all I really have to say. We just got to, seek knowledge and seek truth and knowledge, and do better. With that, take what you know and go into your own communities and do something with it. I'm going to be learning the sesh Maternal because I want to be able to teach that in our summer and after school programs for youth, so we can start early. A lot of the issues that we're having, like when we're commenting and saying people are slow and whatnot, well, that just goes to show the, how can I say, my apologies. That goes to show what our school system is about. So that's why I'm a constant advocate of African-centered homeschooling. And the majority of the people that I follow on Facebook or I'm friends with are into that in some type of way because, African homeschooling education is our liberation. At least that's what it's going to be. If we want to combat some of this pseudo mess, if we want to combat some of this misinformation, it will have to start early. If we want to see our children have a better grasp on genetics and technology and the scientific method, it's got to start earlier. So that's all I really have to say to the chat. It's always a pleasure to learn from great minds who are meticulous, who are accurate, who are about truth and fact. So, once someone touches me with energy that they're on that level, I just follow them. Ini Harek Kalafani, Sean, I met him through Chief X. And it's like every time I met another person. I follow people who are about intellect. I follow people who are about proper information and proper method. And, if you fell off, then, get back up, pick up a book and, just retrain, re-educate yourself. It's okay. I'm just saying that's what we got to do. So that's all I really have to say. Don't forget, besides us being on Facebook, let's do some, and on these live chats, make sure that you're going out doing work in the community, which lots of us do. So also, hey, when people say, "Oh, y'all can debate and do all this, but y'all don't do nothing in the community," man, go to these people's pages. Sean does a lot. Waju does a lot. They do stuff. Garfield does stuff. So don't think that these people are just on here just to show their face and get likes. Like they actually care about our progression, our liberation, and this is what it's about. And this is like family, and that's who I follow. Because that's what I'm going to be pushing where I'm at. I'm in Daytona Beach, Florida, and that's what I push. Everybody here know me. Black Power Link Up is what I do. I try to link up with anybody in this state so we can get it going here, and then we do it bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's steps to it, and it's a method to it, and we just got to get on page to do that. Yeah. So,
what's your name again, sis?
Julanda. I know I sound like a white girl, but I'm geeky as a motherfucker. I already know. I put my disclaimer in that chat earlier, so that y'all don't play with it. See, the thing is, my granny was born in 1918 from Georgia. She was from Georgia. Her parents were from South Carolina. I've always been told that we were Geechee. I've always been told that we were African. But we had this discussion before, like, especially in Florida, and this is the reason why a lot of people try to identify with being Indian, because anything outside of African was more acceptable. You get what I'm saying? And to be Geechee and to have, like, that language impediment was always deemed negative. Like, my grandmother couldn't say certain things, like, she used to say electricity and, lots of different things. So, as I grew up and I was raised in Daytona, Miami, so I was raised a lot around Caribbean folks. See, everybody think I'm Caribbean or from New York. I'm Southern Geechee all my life in Florida, but she was also trained us to speak very proper or very white because she didn't want us socially judged and be claimed ignorant because, we are dark people, but very proud of our Africanness. Like, that's why I get on people when they try to tell me that Geechee ain't African and stuff like that. It's pure fuckery, and I am not with it. So, I ride hard. I'm unapologetically Black. I'm unapologetically African. And if you see me, I'm a Black woman. But, my diction sounds as so, we could switch it up. And I can throw in an English accent and whatnot. So it is what it is. But peace and Black African power. Alafia to you all. Abibi Fahodie. I love you all. And thank you for having me. I'm out.
All right, man. Listen, she said a mouthful. Anytime you shut MC Iron Lung up, hold on. You got this troll coming back and forth. Yeah,
I like to go down to Florida. If you get together about 10 people, I come down to Florida.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the sister. She got off too quick. I was gonna ask her if she planned on coming to Georgia because that's the kind of energy that we need to corral behind and let that be contagious. you know.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay,
I'm still
good.
here. I ain't going nowhere.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing also. Black Power Link Up, I'm very passionate about that. I use that a lot on my Facebook hashtags. Like when I see one positive thing being good and I know that people can connect, that's how I've been doing it. I've actually had some success in that. I'm going to expound a little bit, let me share, but I'll be kind of quick. So here in Daytona, a young man named Royal Black, he posted something on Facebook about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years, and it happened to be at one of my favorite vegan restaurants, and it was called Niggas for Attitude. Well, here in Daytona, Ormond Beach, check it out, also home of the Timucuan Indians and whatnot. Like, I literally lived on top of Indian burial mound. So, you know, I have a lot of knowledge about that. But I was like, damn, this is Kel Cafe, which is a black-owned business. Let me go see what this brother's about, because I don't hear people, you know, use that word niggas and stuff like that. You know, I've been this way as aware and African-centered all of my life. And it got worse or better, however you want to put it, when I went to FSU. And only took black professors like Naeem Akbar, the Alkett Center there, Dr. William Jones. He had a lot to do with that systemic race definition or whatnot. But anywho, when I went to this meeting for this young God, and then he was like 23, I'm older. I'm not going to tell people how old I am, but I graduated from college in 1999. But I was like blown away, because this was a young mind. And he was doing something I hadn't seen in the area. We started an organization. We changed the name from Niggas for Attitude because, you know, this is good old, you know what I'm saying, crack territory. And we knew that wouldn't fly. We tried to be grassroots. We knew that wouldn't fly. So we went ahead and got the 501c3. But in order to get donations and try to do things right, because as we know, black people do support, but it's hard to get us to do that. And we want to do work. And work takes money. And, you know, I ain't got it yet. I'm still working. Garfield better put me on so we can get a calling center down here, but we'll talk about that later. But when we started Community Healing Project, we started as a grassroots, hands-on organization where we go out to people. So with that, just a lot of things sprung off, which Black Power Link Up. So I started looking on Facebook to see who was doing what when the hurricanes came, especially hitting Houston. Immediately, I touched a woman, Pat Hilson, who was really good friends with Dr. C. That's how I know this woman. And she hooked me up with National Black United Front, Malik down there in Houston, and a couple of other organizations, which was awesome. And within that time span, I had met up with Fort Worth RBG, with Ricky Ross and the Hoover Academy, which was awesome. So we got to deliver water to them. Then we did our first annual Malcolm X Day here this summer here in Daytona, never done before. Those same people came and returned the favor. When Queasy came here, I had some comrades down in Florida, South Florida, that gave me a link up with a gentleman that's in Pittsburgh, Bruce Barnes, who's over the suit site. So continuously I will follow the scholarship. And then I found you all. And I was like, I found home. But again, it's about that link up. So I link up everybody together so we can do this work. Because at the end of the day, we can talk. But when we get our minds right, then we just got to get out and do this work. And it don't got to be much. It's not like I'm out every day training children. I'm not a teacher. I'm a natural teacher. I'm you know, that's what I do. I've always mentored children, even when I was a child. That's always been my nature, to lead us, you know. So these are the things that I'm doing. Like, whatever you can do, do it. That is positive and advantageous for us Black people, you know. That's all I'm saying. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I live for. This is my endless job. I left corporate America to work for small Black businesses. I don't make much, but it's not about what I'm making, is what I'm building for the future. And I also want to lead by example to say, you know, we can do it. We can support Black businesses. We can work for Black people. We can be successful. We can grow our business. And when we get the economics down and we start these infrastructures, we get these schools, because again, our liberation is an African-centered education. Nothing else. Nothing else. That's where it's going to start. So I'm about scholarship, and I'm just, you know, getting my retraining through Amara Squad, Masi Warrior Clan, and Waju Seba University, for sure. And I advise everybody else to do the same if you are really serious about putting in this work and changing our present condition that everybody eats, not just few people, but everybody eating. You feel me? So there you go.
Facts.
Man, boy, I
Appreciate
tell you.
Yeah, she got
Appreciate
you beat,
you all.
Uja.
Oh damn! No, don't say that. Not yet, not yet. I gotta learn that. I gotta learn that sesh first. I got the monoliterals down though. You should see me. I be having people quiz me and everything. You know, I ain't looked at it in a couple of days, so don't ask me no questions. But yeah, I'm be ready. I'm be teaching what you want to do sometimes. Something.
Oh no! Hey, listen. I like the energy, and anytime that you can wake Unc back up to kick in fifth gear on a hangout, then you definitely a powerful person. Cause look, Unc was about to fall asleep on everybody, and a second ago. Now he wide awake. Look at him. See, straight.
Well, peace and power, gratitude. I appreciate that. I grant all that to you all. You got what I'm saying? So it gives me new life. Like, you know, our individual personal lives may not always be pretty, and maybe some struggle. I struggle, and I've suffered for a couple of years on little things, but that's not what I dwell on. So in that, and let me tell you, with Community Healing Project, I stepped away from corporate America, and I wasn't even working. So people say, "Oh, you need to get yourself right. Well, my mind's right. That's all I knew. My mind was right. So I'm not just going to sit around and do nothing. You feel me? So when I wasn't working, I did everything that the organization needed when everybody else was at work. You feel me? So that's how it worked, and it just grew. And actually through that, I met the person I work for now, which is a young black woman, has her own black business. Y'all come to Daytona Beach. You got to go to Little Mama's Kitchen. It is soul food, but because of me, she has implemented some vegetarian, vegan things on the menu because I believe in about eating healthy. And no, I'm not no skinny girl, but if anybody want to race me in swimming or you want to go sailing or canoeing, I got that shit. That's another thing. I'm getting sick and tired of people talking about the damn current. So this is what y'all need to ask them. If anybody that wants to like go ham on the abo when they talk about the ocean currents and how they came over here, ask them, have they ever been sailing? And ask them how they determine how you find a fucking current in the ocean. They can't tell you that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's simple. How you locate the current in the ocean to catch it, to get way over here? First of all, like that's just real simple common sense. I was certified sailing at 13. You know, being around these white people, I got to do a lot of things. Plus, I was an avid swimmer. So I understand about that. And we don't go to the river. And it wasn't ocean sailing, it was just on lake, big lake. That's why I understand this idea that, you know, everybody's, they had big boats. I'm like, do you know how big the Nile is? Like, to a lot of people, the Nile would be considered an ocean if you've never seen a body of water in that magnitude. But it does not compare to the Atlantic Ocean. And currents change depending on the weather and situation. So, you know, these are all things you can dig into people when they talk about that simple part about the currents and, oh, they just hopped on a current, they came over here. I'm like, yo, have you ever been sailing? And they can never answer the question because, you know what, they can't even swim. So, you know, that'd be it on that.
You know, say the Moors took them to move, and they learn how to build better boats there.
Oh.
Huh?
They just gonna come up with something.
They always come up with excuse.
They always come up with something, but when they come with that current crap, I'd be like, nah. Have you ever been sailing? Because I want people to understand what it is to be on that water. You feel me? A lot of people have no idea. Like, I mean, they have no clue. That's it. It's dumb.
So
they clueless. I'm a beach baby. I know this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I can detect a rip current by looking at the ocean, but you got to be standing on the outside to look at it. Because when you're in the water, you can't see it. You just know when it's pulling your ass out, and you can't swim back to shore. Which I've been in before with 2 other grown men, and one almost drowned. But you know, he lived. But he did tell me he was a lifeguard. He could swim, and come find out he was a lifeguard at the kiddie pool. That's not the ocean. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't the ocean. Better have respect for that ocean. I'm telling you. That's what I have to say. It ain't no joke. It ain't no joke, and people don't get it. So when they come out, oh, they came here, the urn carried them, I just be laughing. I'm like, okay. All right. But that's it. Didn't mean to take up too much time, but thank you so much. Gratitude in abundance. And yeah, I ain't going nowhere. I'm always here.
All right. Appreciate you. What happened to the 313? Where they at? They just can't talk.
313. They're unmuted. I'm not sure if they're able to. They're probably muted on their end now.
Oh.
And we have 707. Oh, that's Nahisi. We have 42 on. So in the chat, real quick, I did see a couple people say that you couldn't get in, but I had opened it back up and nobody came in. So
They ain't gonna get in. Come on, man.
you know, I thought we were gonna try to close it out, but hey, we can, sleep is for the weak. Nah, but we wanted to keep this short, but we already went beyond the short thing. We might as well do a marathon. You know how you had to call in marathons and donate, but you donate ideas, whatever the case is. But anyway, we don't have any more callers.
Who it was? American Indian Council. Like, what the hell? Come on.
All right, so let's read some of these comments. So let's see what's going on in the comments.
I mean, Indian cowboy, Indian. You call in. Go ahead, beat you up for 5 minutes. Where you at? Get beat up. Everybody always they beat themselves up. No, I ain't took no DNA test. Why not? What's the consensus of the Indian population? Y'all just don't want to take it, huh? If it ain't nothing, if it ain't real, just take it.
Well, notice that the brother earlier, that was the question I asked. That was the first question I asked. Did he take a test? And
He said he will. He said he gonna take one though. He gonna kill him. He gonna stop doing it. He gonna take the test and say, "Damn."
Well, but I wanted everybody to be on notice that when you ask the question, that they never answer it like straight out first. They always have a build first and then answer the question.
He said no though. He said no. He did say no. He said no.
Yes, he said I heard him. He definitely said no, but he said no after he tried to qualify it by giving false information about the 0.01, 0.1 and stuff like that. And so we have to be mindful of that. You know, it doesn't.
I heard him
work.
say no early though, yeah. I swear, I think he did.
No, you could play it back. He didn't, because I'm tentative. I was tentatively listening because
he lied.
It's a simple question.
Did, basically.
No. He did answer though. He did answer after the fact. He answered after he gave a build. If you ask, if you
right for it.
Listen, if you ask me how old I am, I'm gonna tell you my age and then I'll explain something or whatever. I'm not gonna give you a 5-minute rant and then answer the question. But I think we got 313 on. We should be able to hear you. Area code 313.
Oh, hey, my fault. I apologize for that. Hey, let me ask you a question. You know, you were saying that we have there's new evidence saying the ancient Egyptians were African people, whatnot. But it was just it just dawned on my head. But we still got to teach that to the youth, because I have a stepdaughter in Houston. And her she at that time she was in the third grade, and she used to bring home homework, and they would separate Egypt from from sub-Saharan Africa, and also with immigration. When I visited one of my cousins in Philadelphia, she had a female friend, black as myself, kinky hair, and she was actually born in Egypt. When her dad tried to get citizenship, but he didn't try. He is a citizen. What I was told, I may be mistaken, but I was told that on his immigration paperwork, whatever, for him being a citizen, they say he's a Caucasian. He's a white guy. So our government are classifying people who look sub-Saharan, who was born in Egypt, as being Caucasian. Do you have anything? Are you familiar with this immigration? If you were born in a certain country, you are considered Caucasian, like I was saying in Egypt. Matter of fact, I think people who come from the Sudan area, they are considered Arab. So it's like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I get you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's all I was trying to build. Like, do do you know the reason why they are doing this? Pretty much.
Well, we have to realize that the racial classification is a social construct, and so what people from other countries when they come over here, there's actually a video I believe of an Egyptian, a modern day Egyptian who came here and disputed that, like he wanted to be classified a certain way. I forget which way. Either they were trying to classify him.
Yeah, he wanted to be considered. They had on his documentation that he was Caucasian, and he tried since he came in this country in early 80s or something like that, and until the Obama election and Obama leaving office, he was trying to push Obama to sign that he is black. He want to be classified. He's the only man I know want to be classified. No, I'm just joking. But he wanted to be classified as black because his paperwork was showing that he was Caucasian and stuff like that, and they won't change it. And he's been fighting this for a while. I think his name is Hafner or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
his last name.
Well, first for Egypt, they do try to separate Egypt from the continent psychologically in the people's minds because of what I said earlier. It goes back to the greatness that Egypt represents. They cannot have Africans understanding that they're responsible for such a great civilization. So it's a long running psychological game that's being played on the minds of the people. And then you have the difference between a continent and a region. So Egypt is in the Middle East, and some people may get upset about that, but you have to understand what is the Middle East. The Middle East is not a continent. It is not anything but a region. And so you have continents and then you have regions. And so regions are arbitrary sections of geographical territory. And so what they're calling the Middle East, Egypt does fall in it. As far as how they carve that arbitrary imaginary region out. And so, but they emphasize the Middle East as opposed to the continent of Africa. And so that's how they get you. So they say Egypt is in the Middle East, and in people's minds, when you normally think of Middle East, you think of Saudi Arabia, you think of Israel, Turkey, and all those countries around there. So in your mind, when they say Egypt is in the Middle East, you never connect subconsciously, you don't connect it to the continent. So that's how they get you. But they're not wrong when they say that, because that's how it's defined. So we have to just be mindful. So the more educated we become on these different things, the less that we could be tricked and fooled. So that's one thing. And then about the racial thing, I can't answer that why they do it per se, but I can say that race as a social construct, they demarcate and they classify human beings, and they want to keep the so-called African American classification for those people who fit what they see as African American.
What country is the Caucasus Mountains in?
Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute, bro. I'm saying I'm not even buying the classification of Egypt being in the Middle East. All you gotta do is just look on the map.
Me too. Right.
They added that on there, but they actually added that on there. So I guess what Wuja is saying is based off, their particular classifications. You know what I'm saying?
What they're calling, like when you look at a map, there's no such thing as the Middle East on a map.
No, you can't be Middle East.
Right. So the phrase Middle East is not a map terminology. It's not based on any maps. It's based on.
No, it's based off some shit they making up.
No, it's based off of arbitrary.
What country is the Caucasus Mountains in?
Middle East.
No, he said
Georgia or
what?
Turkey?
He
I
said
don't
what?
know,
He
but I
said
know
what?
it's not in Egypt.
So
it's just game. It's
Bro,
just some stuff.
It is game.
Well, that's what I was getting. That's what I was showing you. They're running this game on three fronts. They're trying to flank us on this. So they're trying to go psychology with the term Middle East, because when you look at a map, you don't see Middle East. You see Africa. You see Eurasia, or whatever these continents that we name.
Northeast Asia.
And so on and so forth. So they don't say Egypt, Africa. They say Egypt, Middle East, because they want to lock you in there. Then you got the Caucasian, which is really I believe an anthropological term where they talk about skulls and stuff of the cranial data of how to classify bone structures and so on and so forth, which is really a geographical location. Like you said, I think it's in near the Caspian Sea and near Turkey or whatever the case is. And then you got the social construct of white, black, and those are only two colors. And then we don't use red and yellow anymore. We say white, black, Asian, and Native American for whatever reason. So we use two colors, and then we use a big old direction, because Asian really means east or orient, and then we use Native American. So we're all confused with all these different terms.
Yeah, the crazy thing, Europeans aren't even Caucasian. Like if you're gonna go by local,
no, yeah, fact.
The majority of them aren't coming out of just one location. They got archaeological sites all over that are going to Egypt, from like Morocco,
Hittites,
way up in West Asia, near the Caucasus Mountains, and then all in between, and then like the most diverse places in Europe is Italy, Spain.
All right, so listen, I know we're gonna do the African thing and have these long goodbyes, but we're gonna have to definitely shut it down.
We won't. Hey, 42, I appreciate you, bro.
All right,
I know it was a question you had about the skin map and all that, but I can't do that tonight.
Let me just throw this out there before I go.
No, you will not throw nothing else out. No,
it's quick. It's quick. It's a quick plug, because I never plug. I just want to say, for the people who are asking questions about the race of Egyptians, I have a video that covers the genetics aspect of that argument called "The Truth About Ancient Egyptian Genetics."
Hey, 42, do me a favor. 42,
quick. Having me, much love.
Hold up, 42, quickly do me a favor and post the link in here in this chat, in the Zoom chat, and I can post it in the YouTube chat. But go ahead, Unc.
All right.
Hey, family, look, I appreciate y'all coming through, man. Shoot, I gotta get up early tomorrow. A lot of work. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. We had about 140 people in here, man. We need to get a regular audience of about 250 people. I'm real comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? We need to get this pumping, man. Tell your friends, tell your family, man. Tune into the show. It ain't gonna be 4 hours. We ain't gonna keep doing that though, because I don't even want to look back at the shows. It'll be a lot of information, man.
I'm gonna tell you, the sister Kaba called it. Like even before we began, she said this is gonna be long, because as soon as we said call in, so she's a prophetess. She called it.
She's a prophet. She prophesied herself up out of here.
She said it's long and I'm out. Peace.
I'm out. Peace it out. Y'all tripping. Hey, but look, I'm gone, man. Look, appreciate y'all, man. We supposed to be doing a show on Friday, I believe. We're gonna do another show on Friday. We're gonna show all our awards. I know I ain't gave you another TV award yet, because you won't come and get it. I'll bring it to the store tomorrow, bro. Be there. Meet you at the store tomorrow.
All right.
All right, family. We out of here.
Peace.
All right, peace. So we want to say peace. We normally have that, like you said, every good hero has his theme music, but we can get back to all of that good stuff. I want to say peace. Thanks for the family. Make sure you thumb up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click the bell. Make sure you join the Amara Squad Scholarship Facebook group, and we could continue the conversations there. In a well format. But I don't know. We didn't have that many callers, Uncle. I don't know. Dude, I think you intimidate people, man. I don't know what it is about it. We did have a troll. We had a troll. No, we had some callers. I'm saying, as far as the number of callers, people have so much to say on Facebook and so much to say on YouTube videos.
We just gotta keep promoting it.
Yeah, it'd be all good.
Regular show. Put up a Plus we still live.
Yep, we still live.
Yeah, we got a class coming up at the end of next month too, man. If y'all in the Atlanta area, Black Dot Bookstore and Cultural Center got a class coming up. We're gonna put the flyer out hopefully tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, I'm probably talking about scientific racism. Wuja, I don't know what you're gonna talk about.
I'm gonna go over, like I promised the people last time, and they said they would be back for this time. I promised them that they would be able to walk out understanding a little bit about the hieroglyphs and the language and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna make sure that happens, and I'll be able to get some insight on why people who make the claim that it hasn't been deciphered and all the stuff that come with that, how it's really just silly, just like I did tonight about the putting sounds to symbols. People just gotta understand what sounds are and how they map to symbols. But anyway, so all right, with that, I'm gonna say Shem Hotep, peace, Black African power to the family. Till next time, we're gonna do keep these shows up. You know, and also, if you have any suggestions about things that you want to see us do presentations on, if time permits, you know, we'll go ahead and put our heads together and put together something. All right, so come to our Facebook group and make that suggestion. All right, with that, I'm out.
All right, peace.